on. I thought I'd unmute myself. Can you hear me now? Hang on. Try to see if I'm still muted. Oh, okay, there we go. Right. Well, I can hear it when I'm. I've just tried to listen to myself on YouTube on my phone, and my sound's coming through there. Okay. Hang on. I'll give it another minute. But obviously, if this doesn't through, then I'll. Right, you got us. Okay, then. Right. It seems the sound's on now, which is a good start. So, and by the way, bear in mind, apologies if this looks really unprofessional because I cannot. I cannot for the life of me. This is the first time I've attempted to work this. So if it goes tits up, frankly, then you know why. Hang on, I might echo it. Let's listen. Right, okay. On my end, it seems to be okay, but let me know if it's just Hutchinski's comment. Hutchinski's end that it's. I'm just trying to see if I can get myself on the big screen just so people can just so I can check to make sure this is okay. And for some reason, this is saying no internet connection available, which is really not helpful. Oh, do you know, I'm just going to turn the console off. Screw it. Right, okay then. No echo here. Right, guys. So, yeah, there's 39 people watching at the minute. You guys know what is going to be coming here. I am less than, at the time of recording, hang on, bear me a minute. How many subs am I away from, 6,000? Let's have a look. I'm 19 subs away from 6,000. So if there's anything that is, if there's anyone here watching that isn't subscribed currently, and you think I've earned a subscription from you, then that would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe, because I guess I'm less than 20 subs away from 6K. Eddie Bamber, by the way, shout out to Eddie. His content is really good. Go and subscribe to him. I'd recommend him. Right, let's have a quick look. Oh, hang on. Can I zoom up the comments? Right, here we go. Let's have a look. So Ian says, hello, Ian. Hi, Stephen and Tom. Paul, D7U7. I'm just going to call you D7 there. Robin Hood, I like that. Chris says, 3-hour stream, please. No, not a chance of that. All right, Alan. And Ian as well. Ian says, Aushisha's gone to Aberdeen. One fringe player down, 500 to go. Yeah, well, it's going to be pretty busy, isn't it? But, let's see. Sounds fine to me. Eddie says, how we get MB to 6K? Yeah, that'd be much appreciated, Eddie. Thanks very much for saying that. And again, go and subscribe to Eddie as well. His content's class. His Michael Beale impression in particular is really funny. Let's have a look. Ian, the video was shown was good. I appreciate that, my friend. Tom Harty says, hello. All right, Michael, mate. Hope you had a good weekend. Do you reckon we will get Petrovic? Not too sure. Would rather him than Johnston. Yes, I would rather we got Petrovic than Johnston as well. Whether we get him or not, goodness knows. Goodness knows. Hello, Evan. I am doing okay, and likewise to James Bowens as well. And I believe he messages me on Instagram, actually, which is mb.scfc if you want to know where my Instagram, what my Instagram handle is. So I'm just trying to see if I can get a message from Thane. Hold on. Right, let's see. Try singing a little. Right, hang on. Okay, then me 1 second, guys. I'm attempting to get Thane on. I'm attempting to get him on. So bear with me a moment. Thane is probably watching this. So give me a moment. So it's copied. I'll quickly send him another email to see if I can get him on here. I mean, because when Thane was on here, we working perfectly okay. I could see him all right, but the sound was the problem. So we couldn't seem to hear him. But let's see if we can send another link and see if it makes a difference. So bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to get another. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I know this is absolutely all over the place. This. Right, there we go. Thane, if you're watching, I've just sent it to you, buddy. So let's see if we can get him on. It'll be quite nice to see if we can actually get him. Johnson is 30. Hang on, let's quickly go through some more comments while we wait. Let's see. James Williams, that's true. Yeah. Ian, Johnson is 32. He can do a job in the Championship, but certainly not in the Premier League. To be fair, I think as a number 2 or a number 3 in the Prem, maybe. But yeah, definitely not a number 1. I'd much rather we get Petrovic. Chris Spencer, hello, Michael. Love the content. Keep up with the good work. I said hello to you a few times. I get this on? Oh, well, hey, I can do this. Okay. Right, hang on. Let me just move myself up a little bit so we can sort of get people's comments on the screen. Right, here we go. Hi, Michael. Love the content. Keep up the good. I've forgotten I could do this. Keep up the good work. Say hello a few times when you're recording at the Carbon. Thank you very much, my friend. Robin Hood says, not particularly thrilled. We're looking at Johnston myself. If it was a number one choice, definitely agree. But as a backup, I don't think we can complain too much. Stephen Martin, does anybody... Let's see. I'm not going to be able to get everybody's comments on the screen, guys, so just as a warning. But no, so far, the stream seems to be going okay, but touch wood, it stays that way. Right, let's see. Oh, my God, everything's... right, okay, then. Let's see. So does anybody think we'll be okay this season like me? I'm guessing by okay you mean staying up, and in which case, why not? It all depends on the recruitment, doesn't it? And I've said this loads of times. If the recruitment's up to standard, then I think we need to finish above Leeds and Burnley, and we need to find one more team to try and finish above, really. Right, Evan Addison. This is another one. Hearing we are offering to pay €30 million release clause on Gonzalo Garcia. I'm so glad we are willing to spend a lot of money. Shows great ambition, class from KLD and Speakman. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I think this is the type of ambition that we were going to need to show in the Premier League. And look, I very highly doubt we're going to get Garcia. I mean, look, like I said, I've accepted long ago that a lot of the signings that we're making are signings that I haven't got a Scooby-Doo about. So, personally, I think if we can get him, fantastic. But if we don't, at least we've tried. It sounds like the Simpsons meme. At least you tried. Tom says, Tom Harty, right? We've also put ambitious for Garcia at Madrid. From what I've seen, the Club World Cup, he looks like a decent player. Fair enough. Next, sorry guys, I'm still working a way around this. My good mate Carl Levy, actually, who's got his own YouTube channel. Me and him were using this. He was mainly using this software across the season for championship review shows, and obviously I was on there quite a lot. So this is the first time I've used this to try and properly get my head around it. I was going to try and use StreamYard, but my laptop wasn't having StreamYard at all. Right, let's see. Recording stopped for free plant. Right, okay then. So, are you concerned that African Cup of Nations players are being targeted? I get what you mean by that, but I suppose the caveat is if we think they're good enough to get us the points before the Africa Cup of Nations starts, then I don't personally have an issue with that, but we'll wait and see. Can you guys still see me on this all right? Because it says that the recording stopped for free plan thing on here, but I'm hoping that the live thing is still... I'm still hoping that the live thing is still working. But anyway, no, to answer your question, Lewis, not at the moment, but it depends what we do in the rest of the window. Ian says Garcia be a class signing. If we pay 30 mil, buy back his 40, breaking even when you consider his wages. Paul Graham, good technology. Thanks very much, mate. Alan Gardner. Can't see Petrovic coming to Sunderland as there'll be bigger clubs in him for £20 million. What do you mean? We're a massive club, mate. To be fair, yeah, I'm... whether he comes or not, I don't know. I'm not going to tempt fate because we actually thought that Bulker was coming and didn't end up happening. So, D7 got a cheeky tenner on a top half finish. Me quietly confident with the level of players we are bringing in. Don't remember being this impressed. Fair play, mate. Hopefully, your money hopefully get a good profit on that. Everyone is putting us down. Hopefully, we are respecting our name by the end of next season. Do Sunderland not have a limit on PSR? I believe the way PSR works is... Hang on. Let's see. Oh, okay, right, okay. Thane's not coming on, guys, as you've probably seen. I'm scrolling down the comments to try and keep up with everybody, so you're going to have to just put up with me. But, yeah, it's a shame about Thane that he's not able to... hang on a minute. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Hang on. Let's move myself to them. Nah, I'll keep myself in the centre. Keep in the centre. There we go. Close enough. Anyways, back to the comments. Yeah. Oh, where is it? Let's have a look. Ian says, we better get Mika Tuzi, whatever his name is. I'm going to say Mika. Just learn how to say his name. Quickly, Harry, to answer your question on PSR. Because of if you've been in the Championship the last 3 seasons to the current financial year, you're allowed to lose, I think it's 39 million quid. But I believe if you're in the Premier League after gaining promotion from the Championship, it's 75 million you're allowed to lose over 3 years. I could be wrong on that. But remember, last year, we made, let's say if Tommy Watson's sale to Brighton goes on to 25-26 accounts, so the year that we're currently in, that'll end next summer, if Watson's 10 million, let's say goes on this year, then that means that it'll be Job and the Clark money will have gone onto last year's accounts, the year we got promoted in 24-25. So I think it's that. Finishing off my dinner there a little bit. No, so that would mean then that the money we get from there, because remember we got 15 million initially for Jack Clark. Spurs got a quarter of that, which meant that was just over 11 million, and then with Joe Bellingham, we got just under 28 million pounds up front, without including the add-ons that we're going to get from Dortmund if certain targets are achieved. And then also you got to remember Birmingham get 15%, which say if it's 28 million, 15% of that is just over 4 million. So I'd say then that it should be 23.5 million if my maths is right, just over that for Job up front. So if you're talking about, let's say 11.25 million for Clark, and let's say just under 24 million for Job, that's 35 million that we've got. 35 million pound that we've got over from those two sales. Now, bear in mind the players we paid for last season and the years before that, those fees are amortized over the length of a player's contract. So, in that sense, Job and Clark sales should get us on roughly elite level playing field, I would imagine. Because in the first year in the Championship, 22-23, when Mowbray were in the playoffs, we lost, I think it was £9 million. Then the following season, the Mowbray Beale Dodds year, that was £8 million we lost. Now, say hypothetically we lost 10 million last season, then the sales of Job and Clark would have not only covered us and had us in profit for last year, but over the last 3 years, we should be in profit then. But another thing, so that means then that we should have, if I'm right, £75 million leeway in terms of being able to lose it. And bear in mind, the fees we've paid already, sorry, I know I'm going on quite a bit. I will try and blitz through the comments. The fees we paid already for likes of Diarra and Sadiki and Enzo Lefebvre, bear in mind they're over, well, Diarra and Sadiki are over 5-year contracts. Lefebvre is over a 4-year contract. So Lefebvre's fee, for example, was 20 million. We pay 1 million, 5 million this coming season for the first instalment of the amortized payment of his fee. Likewise with Diarra, if it was 30 million, for example, I know that'll include add-ons, but for the sake of argument, it'll be 6 million paid this year. And then I think Sadiki was 17 million with add-ons, 17 million pounds. So you're talking roughly 3.5 million. So if you're talking 6 million, 3.5 million, and 5 million, we've got 14 million pound there, which means we should be able to lose another 60 million quid or so. But that's with the fees we're going to pay this first year of transfer fees. And bearing in mind, say if we're hoping that Diarra, for example, succeeds, and even if we get relegated, then we'll have a massive sale that all of that will go on towards this year's accounts that will put us back into the black, I guess, for PSR, whichever colour is meant to be the more positive one with PSR. Right, let's try and whiz through some of the comments. Thane said, yeah, sorry, Thane, it'd be lovely to have got you on, but we'll try to see if we can work something out in the future. Maybe we're going to have a test run at some point. Patrick says, hey, hello, Patrick, I hope you're all right. Robin says to Ian, would hate to see all your hard work go to waste. Right, let's get through some more of these. James has just kind of said what I've said in a much more concise way. We can make £61 million loss on PSR. Is it Kieran Maguire? I think it's Kieran Maguire, the football finance expert. Right, so Steven says, okay. Roken Lee says, sounds good to me. Hannah Brown, this is with the... Why is it not showing? I've starred Hannah's comment. I didn't mean to there, but anyway. And good evening, Hannah. I hope you're all right. With AFCON, they might not get selected. Well, that's the hope. I'm sorry. I'll keep going through all the comments that are like... right. I'm not going to highlight the comments where the people are talking to each other. As good as it is, though. Chris, I like your enthusiasm here, but no chance. Robert Foster, apparently Petrovic would prefer a move to Galatasaray. Let's just say I've heard he's keen to come. But to Sunderland, I mean. But how reliable the source is, I don't know. How reliable the source is from where I've heard that, I don't know. Rokenly, just how deep are SCFC's pockets? 100 million, 450 million, 200 million. Gross spend so far circulating 75 million. Well, I suppose to be fair, we're going to have to spend money, aren't we, to try and have a chance of staying up. So Hannah says, with the keeper, we're the only club to offer what Chelsea want. The rest are loans with option to buys. That's another thing as well. It could be that we're actually... it could be, to be fair, that, if we're the only one that offers what Chelsea are wanting, which is a straight-up fee, a straight-up purchase, then I would imagine that it actually would be able to maybe give us the edge in terms of trying to sign him. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. But it could come down to that. It just depends how much Petrovic wants to come. Terry Ward, how you doing, my friend? We've nothing to lose. Everyone has us down to be the whipping boys. Right, let's see. Michael Lewis. Don't you think Pato would do a job in the Premier League? He's made game-saving saves. Try saying that 5 times quickly in both playoff finals. He has, but he also and by the way, I like Patterson. I think many people make him out to be worse than he actually is. But at the same time, he has had some stinkers. And I think his distribution would be quite poor. When we're going to be under the cosh quite a lot, we're going to need keepers who are going to be good with the ball at their feet in pressurized situations. And I'm not convinced Pato is. But I like Pato. I don't think he's a bad keeper. I just think he's a playoff level championship keeper. But I think we need better in the Premier League. But I wouldn't be totally surprised either if Patterson started against West Ham, because it might be that the allocation of funds might go towards other players. So we'll wait and see. I'm sorry, guys, I'm way behind on the comments here. With PSR, we haven't spent that much in years. We're in a great position. We can spend £200 million, not being any issues. Ian says, I honestly think we've beat Leeds to a couple of times because we've put relegation clauses in their contracts. Maybe. Who knows? David Walker says we need better than Pato in the Premier League. I agree. Unfortunately, not unfortunate that I agree with David, but unfortunately that I don't think Pato will be good enough. Unfortunately, Thane, what's he said? According to Belgian journalist Petrovic oh yeah, that's Sacha. He was on the Wise Men Say podcast, and he was saying that Petrovic to Sunderland is very close, and the club and other reports are just playing it down because they're trying to keep it quiet. That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me with Sunderland. Jim, I think KLD Christian Speaking will not exceed PSR. They said they won't risk damaging the club. They'll be on top of it. Just trust them. They know what they're doing better than us. Mate, absolutely. I'll take that. Rock Lee says, can't see gross beyond 150 million, but that's beyond me. Would Sean not join you on here? That's a good shout, actually. Shall we try and get him on? Let's see if we can get him on. Hold on a moment. Let's see. Hang on. I'm going to attempt this. Let's see if we can do it. Give us a second. Join. Do you know what would help if I actually could type properly? Let's have a look. Hang on. I'll send a link over to email. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I can just send it over to... So, guys, give me a minute. I'm just absolutely talking rubbish here. Not for the first time, I suppose. Right, hang on a moment. Right. Copy link. That's what I want. Right, give us a minute. I'm sending the link over to Sean. Let's see if we can get him on. I'd be very surprised if I could, but we'll have a try of it. Able to add you in. And thanks, guys, by the way, who watched the video between me and Sean on Fans React the other day when we were reacting to everything that's happened. Right, let's try and get through some of these. And it says, right. But no, Lewis, good shout. If he does come on, I'll credit you for the idea. With Petrovic closer deal than other clubs, and with Mika, that deal should be done soon. I hope so. Also, it's just fans saying that they're out, saying that after that keeper. Yeah, well, we'll see. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to try and be selective on what comments. Thane says, right, so Lewis, we have cover for the key players. We have to have cover for the players who go after them. Fair point, John. We could do with some cover for them, couldn't we? Scott, now this is the Leicester fan here, and he watched me when I was doing the videos with Ant over the 23-24 championship season for Leicester. But hey, Scott, hopefully, I hope you're doing all right, my friend. And yeah, no, lovely. Thanks very much for watching. 20 to 25 million pound for a keeper that was ranked in the top 5 last season would be a bargain in the long term. I agree, it would be. And remember, for keepers like that standard, you'd like to think that they should be able to save you, gain you points throughout the season. Philip Emerson. Every social media outlet has got Sunderland 20th. I just hope we can survive. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, my friend. Right, let's see. Pato will start the season once the first cup game comes around. You'll see a change in goal unless Pato ends up leaving. Scott is going to get Hermanson from Leicester City. I'm guessing that's you don't rate him and you want him out. But we'll wait and see. Hannah said, oh, this is interesting. We want at least 8-9 in before we go to Portugal for pre-season. Okay, fair enough. Ian says Birmingham have a similar plan to what we have. Scott says, show your support for this great channel. Also drop a like on this video. Thank you very much, pal. Means a lot. That's the next one from Thane. Once Reynaldo and Telby are confirmed, we basically got 5 in before pre-season, which is very good. Yeah, I bet for you, Thane. We're not used to this because we're used to doing our business late. Let's see. Robin, I'm very happy with the business done so far, especially when these two are locked down. When those two are locked down. Yeah, I've just realised. Hang on. Jim's just saying, what do you call it? Hit the likes, I'm only seeing 9. Yeah, that would be lovely. If we could hit the like button, that would be brilliant. David Harris, do you think since the Newcastle shambles last season, the club have upped their game massively off the pitch? I would think so. I would think so. Well, the better bloody have done. But yeah, it does seem to. It does seem it, to be fair. And it says, should Bristol guts to get Mika in. I'm just going to call him Mika. I'm not going to butcher that name anymore. I see 26, Jim. It doesn't always fresh reviews automatically. Well, thanks to everyone who has liked. And see if more people could like the video and like the live stream. It would be much appreciated. Be absolutely appreciated. Right. I think I'm going to have to look through my phone to scan through all of these because it's. I'm going to try and because otherwise I'm just never going to catch up with comments. Right. Let's have a quick look. See where have I caught up to? Let's see. Hey, Case, yeah, how you doing? You all right? Jim says that the fact the better goalkeeper, the more chance of survival. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, right, hang on. Right, okay, hang on. We're not far off. Oh, right, I see. Because it tells me I've got 60 comments. So 60 comments in the stream, but I thought it was 60 comments I haven't read yet. Right, that makes sense. Okay, let's have a look. Let's highlight Acacia's comment. I can't wait to see these new lads get started in the squad. Have you seen the video from the club that Jay Mattetti is back at the club and Triantis? Both of them, Mattetti will be gone. Before the end of the window, I'd be astonished if Mattetti at the end of the window is still here. I'd be absolutely amazed. And I'm just realised I'm hearing myself on my phone. I don't think anyone wants to hear me twice. Let's have a look. Let's see. All right, buddy. All right, Jacob. Evening Yorkshire Macam, or Jacob in other words. Chris says you should go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For a free, I wouldn't complain, but apparently Man United are looking at him, I think. Would you, right, Philip Emerson, would you take Jamie Vardy? You've not heard if he's gone anywhere yet. I don't think he has. And yes, as an option, I would not complain with Jamie Vardy. Jazbaz Ramataz, one of the best names I've ever heard in my life. Evening, lads and lasses. Eliza was nowhere to be seen on the video. Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that case yet, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, no, I agree. The chemistry point is absolutely vital. I really do think that. So yeah, I'm going to be very keen. I'm going to be very keen to see if the better chance of chemistry building is going to happen because these guys are through the door earlier. Right, let's see. Oh, this is an interesting one. Oh, no, hang on. If I'm right, I believe that Ken asked this before. I can't remember if it was Ken or someone else. Someone definitely asked this, but I can't remember if it was Ken or not. Hi, how about a swap rig for Ahmed, anyone? You're really honestly having to ask the really tough questions here. If you're asking me right now, probably, but I doubt Ahmad would want to leave Man United. I know he loves Sunderland, but I mean, like, playing for Sunderland, playing for Man United, even in their shocking state at the minute, are two completely separate things. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to. I would take Ahmad back in a heartbeat, but I'd be very surprised. I'd be astonished if that ended up happening. Acacia's good. Hello, Andrew, my friend. Hope you're doing okay. Canna says, Acacia, some players still on holiday. No. Oh, okay, then. Fair enough. Acacia says, yep, Acacia, can't wait back with you for the first pre-season home game if I can make it. What's this one? James Bones. With Josie and Galatasaray running away from one arm, Luke, and we got a replacement lined up. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's comment of the stream, that. I absolutely love that. All will be back. Okay. Paul Johnson. Happy with activity so far, but concerned of lack of Prem experience in the squad. Yeah, that's one thing I think we could do with, to be fair. I think I would like to see, and I don't mind that we're not going to spend or spunk a load of money buying players with experience, as in like late 20-year-olds, early 30-year-olds, as long as when we have the opportunity to sign players, say like a Vardy or a Henderson or a Kyle Walker-Peters, something like that, I wouldn't be complaining with all of that. Ian, if we're being realistic, all the promoted teams are going to have a full new squad, more or less, so it's about who makes the best signings. Absolutely, I agree. Patrick, according to Wikipedia, Mika is already a Sunderland player. Best advice I would give, yeah, I think that'll be a joke, mate. Anyone can pretty much edit Wikipedia the way they want, unfortunately. Jacob, my day's going all right. How's yours? And what's he saying? Ekwa will probably be gone by the end of the season, and hopefully we can send Hamir on loan to a League One club because he struggled in the Championship. I wouldn't be against that, my friend. I wouldn't be against that at all. Sheffield Wednesday's #1 fan. Oh, yeah, that's true. Brown may still be okay. Chris Riggs. Okay, that was not long ago. Hey, I think that's Sean. Let's see if he responded. Hang on. Probably says he wouldn't be able to. Go on, Sean, mate. I love you too, brother, but get yourself on. I've sent you a link in WhatsApp. If you click the link in WhatsApp, then you should be able to come on if you want to, even just for half an hour. But if you can then that's fine. But yeah, love you. Hang on, but love you too, Sean. Absolutely love you too, bro. All right, sorry, I've already done that one. KTM just joined. How are the lads? Thomas Lister. Right, what's this? Who do you want out of the links that are realistic? Ooh, good question. If I'm honest, I think I'm looking at free agents really in a minute. Look, to be honest, Thomas, like a lot of the players that we're signing are players that I will have not heard of or watched play. So to me, it's completely pointless giving an opinion on that. But I'll answer this in terms as far as free agent English players go. I'd say Danny Welbeck, Jamie Vardy, Jordan Henderson, Kyle Walker-Peters, stuff like that. I think obviously we're not going to get Welbeck and Vardy if we go for one of those options. But if you're asking me, I'd go for Henderson and Kyle Walker-Peters personally. I would love to see us go for players like that, and I think they would add some, particularly Jordan Henderson would add some valuable experience to the squad, particularly if the likes of Dan Neil doesn't sign a contract and ends up being sold. Luke 09 still looks like his right arm is injured to me, just desperate for two centre-backs. Yeah, we need at least one, but yeah, we probably could do with two, to be fair. Experience is key. I'd love someone like Decore. His class experience in here, he's a proper DM. Depends on wages, doesn't it? Terry, I think the pace of Mayendo and Isidore could do damage even in the Premiership. I'd like to hope so. Let's find out, won't we? Diarra played well against England, says Jim. He's already Premier League level. I actually think he will do well. He's the one that I'm probably the most excited about in terms of the new players we've signed. Because obviously Enzo was with us last season. I'm doing good. Thanks. How about yourself? Not doing too badly. Chris says up the owls. Absolutely. And Vinny Souza says the same thing, which is quite funny. Patrick saying hello to Sean. So is a case. Yeah. Right. Jesus, how many comments are we getting? Right, that's Sean. Let's have a look. What's this one from James Dale. That's why you say his name is no longer listed as a player on the Olympic Lyon website. Is he not? Have they put their squad up for this coming season, mate, James? Scott says, indeed, I know he said that he rates the keeper that he was on about. Indeed, he wing skip for your defensive midfield ranks. I think indeed I wouldn't complain with getting. Well, actually, this kind of adds to Sunder Freak's question. What a name that is. Any players would you take? So to quickly go back to Scott's comment, out of them, probably Ndidi. I wouldn't complain with signing him. I think he looks like he would be a powerhouse, but we'll see. Right, let's see. Dear Brown, just arrived. Has Alshisha's no move to Aberdeen been talked about? Anton Stack from Hoffenheim would be class. Now, would you take Stack because it would annoy Leeds? Because that would be quite funny. But yeah, I know what you mean. He's a tall guy, isn't he? I think we could do some physicality in terms of height. Right, let's quickly talk about Alshish, actually. I'm someone who's a fan of Alshish, and I'm being honest, I don't like the way Labrise has treated him. I know obviously he did this at Lorient as well, but I don't really care. I think personally, I think he deserved a bit more respect than where Labrise was prepared to give him. But at the same time, I think for him, that's a really good move. My concern, I suppose, with Alshish is, would he be able to compete in the SPL from a physical standpoint? Because that is a very physical division. But if he's able to, and I believe that Aberdeen have got where's a dog's barking outside for some reason? Anyway, no, I believe Aberdeen have got a £1.5 million permanent exercise option if he does well. So looks like to be fair, we could very well make a profit on him. But I don't know how much we paid for him. But I can't imagine it would have been that much. Our Leeds fans still crying over our signing because they picked us, not them. Saying if Lyon get relegated, lose about 90% of their squad. This is probably where we should be targeting them, to be fair. Oh, hang on a minute. Hey, there he is. Let's see if I can just quickly shorten the screen. I'm surprised you actually agreed to come on.
I know. I've just been. I was getting to the bath.
Hang on,
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Champion, we can hear each other. There you go, guys. I can't remember who was it that suggested Sean come on, but whoever it was, absolutely legendary idea. Right, there you go. I don't know if those cameras are in sync together, but I do not care, really. Right, where was I? Oh, yeah. Jazz Ramataz, return of the Welbecks. Well, me and Sean will quickly talk about the transfers that's gone on. Sorry, John, I'm just trying to quickly whiz through some of these comments. Danny still has the legs, can hold on to the ball and bring the lads in. Danny Welbeck coming back. Well, if he scores against the Mags, then it's worth bringing in for that alone. There you go. Sean's got the approval. Let's see quickly what Ian's saying. When Leeds lost Diarra... When Leeds lost Diarra, they were bigging up Sadiki like it was the next big thing, and they called him shit when we signed him. Yeah, that seems about right. Right, what's the other ones? Sorry, Sean, you have to bear with this. This is the first time I'm using this.
Oh, that's good software, this, Michael. I'm just having a look myself. It's decent, this, like.
Do you know Carl, the Leeds fan you interviewed?
Yeah.
You know, he used this for championship streams all the time, like as in review shows and stuff.
All right.
We
Yeah.
use this all the time. It's really good.
How much is it like, Michael?
Nothing. Set up
Is
for
it?
free. Yeah.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could try and we could try and do lives from here if you want it on Fans React.
Definitely.
Yeah, we tried to get Thane on before, but his sound wasn't having any of it. So it was Yorkshireman, bring back Welbeck and Hendo, absolutely. Jesus, I forgot how big this thing is. Under Russ's note, what's the case? Your Chef Wed's #1 fan saying. Let's have a look. Can't see Henderson coming back now. Jacob's going to stay at Ajax now. Very quickly, actually, speaking of Chef Wed, I'll say this to Sean. Did you see? I don't know if I showed you it, but there was a tweet that Vinny Souza put out when he left Sheffield United to go to Wolfsburg and talked about the obligatory. Oh, absolutely love Sheffield United and all that sort of stuff. And then he tagged Sheffield Wednesday at the end. Oh, that was priceless. That was brilliantly funny.
Oh, that was definitely.
Let's see. We have the left back from Atletico Madrid to announce tomorrow. I would suspect Reynaldo would be signed as well. Petrovic and Mika should be done this week. We've made a bid for an unknown player for £50 million. Grealish has been linked, but don't know if we get. I said this to Paul yesterday because I met with my mate Paul. If we get Grealish, even on loan, I will have a shot of tequila or something. That's how it won't happen, will it?
Nah.
It's not, is it?
His wages, Michael. He's on 220 grand a week at Man City. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
Sorry,
I'd be astonished if it did. Even on loan, you got to remember City would have to pay about 80% of his wages for us to have a chance of getting him, which I can't see City will. I can't see City agreeing to. To be fair,
nah. Sorry, I'd love it. Like you said, I'd love it. I'd love it if it was true or any sort of
substance
chance of it. But it's nah.
No, I'm with you. I'll be very. Yeah, it's just not. I just don't see how it. I don't see a world other than the fantasy world where it happens. But I would love to be proven wrong. But
I was talking to my friend at work. He's a mad black and white.
Your friends.
And
right. While Sean's going, guys, I'm just going to quickly highlight more comments. But sorry, go on, Sean.
And he was talking about the Grealish being linked with Newcastle, and I said, "Would you want him?" He says, "Not really, because." Can you still hear us, Michael?
Yeah, no, I can hear you fine. I'm just going through the comments.
I've just plugged the charger in, that's all. I'm just wondering if it's true, because my phone was only on 20.
Patrick's delighted you've joined. In fact, quite a few people are happy.
Cheers, guys.
You'll see them as I keep going on, but go on, carry on.
It was basically saying, I was asking them about the, if you would be happy if they would get Grealish, because you think they've got Anthony Gordon on the left, Grealish plays on the left. I mean, they could sort of switch, but he says he would sort of bring problems to the dressing room. Like the Newcastle, they believe they've got a good dressing room. That the players get on really well. Grealish likes his nights out, doesn't he, and things like that. He's not very professional, is he? Let's be honest. He likes his women, likes his drink, likes going out. So I would. I think let them go there. We don't want them.
Well, just destroy the Mag's camaraderie in the dressing room.
Aye, that's it. Basically, aye.
Who knows? John saying, "I get a Macam Hendo in, someone we could communicate with." I think
Michael, I'd absolutely love that. Like if we got Henderson, like, do you know what the experience you bring to that core of like youngsters we've got? I mean, we hadn't a lot of players at the minute, and we're sort of, sort of unknown players. But if the scouting teams have done the homework, which we have done the last few years, I think we've got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that they're getting these players in and they're going to be little gems. You know what I mean? There's Diarra and there's Sadiki. And there's that new guy. What's the new guy, the right winger? But what's his name, Michael?
Is it Tolby? I think his name is.
I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name. I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name yet. I'll wait till Nick Barnes does it.
Well, so then Nick can take the fall if he makes a cock up of it.
But have you seen the left back though? That Mandeva. What's his first name?
The Atletico Madrid guy.
Aye, Jesus, how fast he is, Michael. He is fast.
I've seen. Well, obviously, look again. I try not to take too much scope of clips on YouTube and stuff. But like, from what I have seen, he is rapid. He's like the
Oh,
closest player I can think of to his position I can think of, and just pure from a pace perspective, is Van Aanholt. Like
oh Jesus, that's mad. That's what I says.
Van Aanholt was like really, really rapid.
Rapid. He was rapid. Couldn't defend for his life, but then Big Sam sort of changed him a little bit, didn't he? He made him
Yeah, Big Sam
more
actually got him
defensive.
to defend, which is weird.
Uh,
But yeah, but no, I mean to be fair. I'll tell you what. Well, let's quickly talk about these now. What do you reckon? Because obviously now so it looks like Reynaldo, the left back, is going to sign tomorrow. But I would imagine so anyway.
yeah.
What do you think about the two we have signed? Obviously, I know for anyone who hasn't seen On Fans React, first of all, go watch it, and secondly, what do you actually think of it then? Because obviously Sadiki was confirmed after we recorded the Fans React video because we did it.
Yeah, I was saying that. I was saying literally. I think that was confirmed after Sadiki, and but then the other one was confirmed was the next year. So it just seems we're bringing in loads of players. I mean, like I say, I've watched Diarra on YouTube, and I know you've got to be very skeptical about watching players on YouTube because they show you the best bits. They don't show you their vulnerabilities or their weaknesses in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say YouTube
I'm a little
Big
bit.
Merce and Burstow look mint, you know.
Oh, yeah, no. Well,
Yeah, go on.
but looking at, I mean, Diarra looks. He looks like he's got something about him. Like he really does. He looks like he's got just about everything in his game. And like, see, I watched the 6 minutes video on YouTube, and I was very impressed with him. Very impressed. And that's Sakiti. I haven't really watched too much on this. Was it Sakiti? Is that how you pronounce it? Sadiki. I haven't watched too much on him, but again, I've looked just reading up on people's comments on him and reliable sources this year. He's another really good player. But where's that going to leave? Where's that going to leave Dan Neil, Michael? Because if you've got Sadiki in there and you've got Diarra, if we play a 4-2-3-1, will Dan Neil be sort of in there still as a? Will he be moved up sort of in a more forward role because he's been playing as a sitting defensive midfielder. Now he's going to be sort of. Is he going to get sort of pushed up now? Do you think, Michael? Dan Neil will Dan Neil start?
I don't know. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he left. It depends what happens with his contract for me.
Yeah.
Because obviously because him and Serkin are going into the last year of their contracts, existing current contracts. So to answer the question, like we've done. By the way, I think we've got 145 people watching, which is obviously, I think Sean the legend himself is helping out with that.
Smash the like buttons. Yeah, but Michael, you're on 6,000 subscribers as well.
I know. I was going to say, yeah. If there's out of the 140 odd people, there's 19 of you that
come
aren't
on. All right. Get Michael. Get Michael. Get Michael at 6K.
I doubt we're going to do it on air, but if we can, that'd be great. And get subscribed to Fans React as well, because I mean, what is it? Are you on like over 4,000 subs? On
4,300 and something. I think 350 something like that, Michael. But Michael, something to get you excited just quickly. I've just read the comments. Theon's just put in the comments. Sadiki apparently is the new Kantia.
Let's see
Gee.
if I can find that. There's so many comments that I'm trying to find where it is. There we go. Here it is. Yeah, this is the comment guy Sean's referring to. Sadiki, the next Kantia, apparently. Well, I'll tell you what. If he's anywhere near the ability of N'Golo Kante, then we could be onto a hell of a player.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of midfielders, actually, I don't know if there was a rumor going round, and it's on. And again, how much I'd be very surprised if there's anything in this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Apparently, there's rumours we bid £50 million for a player.
Well, is that the one from?
The player possibly could be the guy below, Guendouzi, who used to play for Arsenal.
Right. I thought it was the Arsenal one. Have you not heard the one with Andy the Sauce? He put Andy the Sauce on Twitter. It was
in the last half an hour. I won't have seen it.
Real Madrid.
That one.
Yeah. He's basically we've bid 30 million.
Thanks, Patrick. By the way,
I think it was 30 million. But then 25% with add-ons, and then literally, Real Madrid's got a 40 million buyback though, because I think they think he's going to be really good. So if we were to buy him, they want if he really does well, and he bangs the goals in, they want to try and get him back. So there's a clause on there as well. So that's one of them.
Was it 40 million clause, I believe, that for a buyback?
The buyback was 40 million. Yeah.
This thing's weird though, because like, does that technically mean then that we could that Madrid could get him back, and then they still get 25% of the sale? So that means
that's a strange one.
They're buying for 40 million, but they're also getting an additional 25% from us.
No, I don't think it was 25%, Michael. I think it was we'll offer them 30 million, but 25% in was it 25% on in add-ons or something like that. It wasn't a percentage sale. I don't think. I'm not sure.
Because I love the deals you're trying to do, mate, but you're confusing me already. Confusing me already with what we're even attempting to do. Right, sorry, Leon did give. Well, hopefully this Mika. I'm just going to call this striker Mika because I'm going to completely butcher his last name. Nick Barnes, hurry up and say it if we sign him. Edwards. There you go. Here's a comment that you like. You and Sean make a good team. We do. People often say we do, and I think we do as well. It's lovely just for us to have a bit of banter and just actually talk about Sunderland, which we love doing. And I believe you said that you want to try and do more videos over the course of this, even more videos over the course. This is Sean saying this, guy. Sorry, he's on.
No,
he's not. He's on this end.
No, Michael, I've been speaking to me earlier on, and he was saying he's going to try and do more content. I was seeing it's not Michael, it's me. I always let us down really, but if we could do like one or two videos a week, but that's going to be hard for you. Even
well, even if you met up once a week, you could even do one of these things. You could do like one video where we meet in person, and then one of these like sort of stream things, because this thing's actually relatively easy to set up, even for me. And I was very anxious about trying to get this sort of thing done, but no, it's been relatively straightforward, really. But we can talk about it once we finish recording. Once we finish live.
Well, it is. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, this looks as good as remember the stream that I was paying. I think £30 a month. I was paying £30 a month for that. If this is for free, then you know what I mean. If you can show us out,
well, I think there's a catch that I think if you're going to record videos, you can only do it for up to 7 minutes. But if you're going live, you can do it for up to 2 hours. Which, to be fair, you know, I imagine if we did it, we'd probably make sure we're off well before an hour anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But yeah, no, it should be good. Let's see. Oh, Casey, there's got a comment for you. Like Sean always used to say on the live streams, absolutely free and doesn't cost a penny. We still need to get that on a t-shirt. I keep saying. Right, let's have a look. What's this one from Hannah? Ooh, any thoughts on this, Sean? If this is true?
Mags are finding out. It's what? Unrest there.
Finding it hard to sign players, major unrest there.
Well, I'll have to put that on because I'm the comments, that's all. Mags are finding out hard to sign players, major unrest there. Well, do you know what? It's funny because talking to some of the Geordies at work, they get a bit annoyed of the inactivity in the transfer window. So they're starting to the fans are starting to get a bit annoyed of what's happened at Trafford. What's happened to what's he called? Alanga from Forest. The same. Well, why these deals not getting finalised? But especially with the PSR, the 3-year window is ended now, isn't it? So that gives them a not a free hit, but they can buy a couple more players now, can't they? But I mean, to get unrest within the players, that's good. I mean, I can put these thumbs up.
No, I'm just putting thumbs up at the comments saying Jazz Baz is shared. And I love that. But yeah, no. To be fair, do you reckon that if there is any unrest on Newcastle, because I'm convinced Newcastle will sign players, and I think they'll still sign players well above the level we're going to be able to get. But I wonder whether it's because of how busy we've been so far that's probably making them think, well, no, the Mackhams are signing all these players. We're not happy that we haven't got much of the tune. But being serious though, like I can imagine that it might not make things particularly easy, but you got to remember, we're unfortunately us in Newcastle. We're shopping in completely different windows. We don't, and let's be honest, what do they really need to make Champions League again? For example, like just to finish in the top 4 or 5, you probably need backup striker. Depending on what happens with Isak, then you need a main striker, maybe a defender or two. Apart from that, you don't need that much really. Whereas we need a hell of a lot.
Callum Wilson, Callum Wilson's his contacts is up. The Ruddy's up as well. There's a few of them going. But like, the fans are not very happy at the minute, like Newcastle fans. But somebody's put that. I think Anna Brown's just put Isak wants to go. How he's getting annoyed too. Alanga doesn't want to go. Now I've heard that Alanga obviously plays for Sweden, so they're good friends him and Isak. But I've heard that I don't know if it's true, but Isak is not entirely happy. And that I don't know if he's just trying to instigate a move. I mean, Liverpool's being linked, but Liverpool's spent a lot of money, Michael, haven't they? This window, they've already spent 220 million, haven't they? So, I mean, could Liverpool afford to pull out 100 million for Isak?
How much is it going to cost? Like 100 to 130 million, probably.
Michael, it's going to be, I mean, reading between the lines, Newcastle, the fans are seeing 150, but I think that's going to be too far. Even though I think he's the best striker in the Premier League. I think he has been as well. I think he would be really good for Liverpool. Can you imagine him in the Liverpool team, Michael?
Well, the thing is, if Liverpool got him and then got Mark Gahey from Palace as well,
Yeah,
And obviously, in a way, because of what's happened with Diego Jota as well, unfortunately, I
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
there's a. Although this isn't important in comparison to what Jota's family what Diego's
yeah.
family are going through,
Oh, exactly, exactly, bro.
him and his brother's family, because we have to mention his brother, unfortunately,
Yeah,
passed away as well. With that though, I mean, obviously the transfers stuff is not important next to something like that. But
yeah,
I'd imagine Liverpool, because of that, are short of a striker then, and they probably will be looking for somebody else, really. But yeah, I mean, quickly on the Newcastle thing. If I'm to an Isak thing, I mean, look, the meltdown would be quite funny if Isak did go to Liverpool. And you got to remember, like, look, Newcastle, look, we know how big they are, but Liverpool are just a different level of size of club, aren't they?
yeah. Yeah,
And I
elite,
think,
elite.
and they're an elite level. And I think that, very quickly, by the way, Luke says Diarra, top 5 Premier League midfielder. I'll tell you what, if he proves that this season and helps keep us up, then that's money definitely well spent.
Absolutely.
Then 140 plus of career appearances for a 20-year-old isn't too bad either with Sadiki. It's definitely not. There was a funny comment from earlier that I'm trying. No, anyway, the basic thing I was saying that, but at the same time, part of me can't see Isak leaving this window. I'd be surprised if he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. While quickly Sean is doing that, John says, "Well, Diarra and Sadiki have both played in Champions League and Europa League.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we should sign Celtic players then. They've played in the Champions League." But I get the point you're making, though, John. Jim says, Sadiki for good signing for us. Sorry, guys, I'm probably not going to get to everybody's comments. There's so many. It's
Michael, you've got loads on. You've got loads on the thing here, mate.
I can't believe it. It's actually
Brilliant, Michael. Brilliant. You deserve it, mate. You deserve it.
oh, thanks very much. It's no, that is appreciated. That is appreciated. Where was it? Oh, there was a really funny look at this one. What do you think of this?
Thomas went on a friend.
I don't think that's going to happen, mate.
One last dance.
Hashtag one last dance. Oh my god.
Hi.
Imagine the scenes though. But this is the thing. That's the funny thing I was going to say before when we were linked with players from Real Madrid and stuff like that. Can you imagine if someone said this to you 4 years ago at the start of the first full year under this regime, after we just lost to Lincoln in the playoffs in League One? You go, oh, by the way, in 4 years' time, you're going to go for a Real Madrid strike. I'm like, ha ha, give up.
Exactly.
Give over. What crack have you been smoking? Honestly. This was a funny comment earlier when we talked about signing Leeds as targets. And then James says, I said Stack would be a colossus of a signing. For us pissing Leeds off is a bonus. You couldn't. Actually, Thane, earlier when we were talking about Reynaldo compared to Van Aanholt, yeah, he was mentioning that as well. Here's the funny comment. Look at this one. Newcastle's new away kit are the same colours of the Jaffa Cake box.
I've seen that earlier on. I've seen that, but you were speaking to it.
You're saying hashtag lifetime a year's supply of free Jaffa Cakes. Who would love that? Tony Mowbray. Tony Mowbray would absolutely love it. What's this from about Guendouzi? Let's see. Apparently Guendouzi has an attitude problem, which is what we don't want at our club. Well, we'll see when we. To be honest, I'll be very surprised if we sign Guendouzi on top of Sadiki and Diarra and Lafay. I just don't see that. I just don't see us spending that much. I think we need to try and organise, prioritise the money limits or leeway we're going to have with PSR for other positions, such as the wingers or centre back at least. We're going to need to sort of look at it that way.
And Mikey, you look at our centre backs. I mean, no disrespect, I was talking earlier on, and Luke O'Nien. I love Luke O'Nien. I think it's a fairy tale story. I mean, when he was at League One, people say he wasn't good enough. And he done well. Then went to the Championship. People say he's definitely not good enough. He's done well in the Championship, and I just like to see him just get a. And he's not going to start. I'd love to see us keep him as a squad player, just to have that. Have him in the dressing room because he's such a lovely person, and he must be great. He must be great to be around the players as well. Do you know what I mean? So just to keep him, just for that, he might like that. He might want to play some players here and there, but he might want to play some games. Sorry, but I'd love to see him stay, Michael. And he's been at the club for 7 years. Can you imagine if he stayed for another 3 years and then he gets to 10 years and he gets a testimonial? I think it'll be absolutely. It'd be unbelievable.
And again, it's weird when you look at it, because I keep pinching myself that he's been there for 7 years. Because what was it? His first game was Charlton in League One, wasn't it?
I remember that. Yeah.
And remember, he was meant to be signed as an attacking midfielder originally.
Yeah,
and then he's put him defensive mid, then right back, then centre half, and then
he's played everywhere, Mike, hasn't he? He's played everywhere.
Right, okay, I'll tell you what. Against Shields or Gateshead, if he's able to play, just play him in goal so we can see. Right, Jim says Guendouzi played for Lebris. I didn't know that. Okay, maybe that might be getting the French band back together. Actually, there is something I want to ask you, really. I've heard, I can't remember, was it Lefay who said this? Somebody said that League 1, the French First Division, apparently is a very, very physical division.
Yeah,
That makes me think: is it good that we're targeting players from that division because of how physical and athletic the Premier League's going to be?
yeah. Aye, possibly. I mean, I was talking to somebody on the comments on my YouTube channel. And look, at the end of the day, I've got no problem with people that have got different opinions to yours. Just keep it respectful. And he said I was being negative, but I was talking to editor and I was like, why was I being negative? No video
I didn't
the
think
other
you
night.
were negative either. To
I
be
didn't
fair,
think I didn't think I was being negative. I mean, I was just seeing some of these players. I mean, Sadiki, Diarra, obviously Mandeva's Champions League. He's well
by the
experienced.
way, quickly, sorry, I just had to say that.
But,
Yeah, carry on, Sean. Go on. You're saying about
I,
the EU apparently being negative.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, I was asking other people, saying, "Do you think I was negative?" And I didn't think I don't think I was negative at all. I mean, I was saying if we stay up, I'll be absolutely over the moon. Now, I don't say that as a negative because you look at the cycle of the teams what's come from the championship and like now, the last few years. I mean, they all come straight back down. So we're gonna have to break that cycle, Michael. So right now,
One thing.
you've got to look at it and see if we can stay up. I'll be absolutely over the moon, absolutely over them if we can just stay up. If we just surprise everybody and we somehow finish mid-table, Jesus, that would just be someone else.
Give me
Wouldn't
7.
it?
I'll be over the moon with 17th right now.
That would be like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I won't be quite that over the moon, but yeah. Yeah, but either way, I mean, look, and again, I've said before, when we were in the Prem last time, I was fuming that a lot of smaller clubs were doing better than us in the pyramid. Whereas now the Prem changed so much that I think if we stay up this season, okay, here's what I'd say: if we stay up this season, I wouldn't be surprised if we're competing for Europe within the next 5 years.
I would say, do you know what?
By the way, not Champions League, to make that clear. I mean, like Europa League or
Yeah.
Conference even.
No, I'm gonna say something to you. If we stay up this season, right? I think within 3 years, I think
Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, but if we stay up and then obviously don't go down the second season or anything like that, I mean, if we're in the Prem the next 5 years, I mean,
because I think the way this regime works, I think they'll always seem to. I mean, and I just exclude the season one with Michael Beale. That was just to forget about that. But they always every season they always seem to progress. It's like first season progression, second season progress. We seem to always making steps to progress. Do you know what I mean? And so I firmly believe that if we can stay up in this first season, which will be the hardest, I think we will improve again and again and again. I think like you see it. I mean, Europe now is it top seven? Michael get you in the conference league. The seven.
it depends on if which clubs win the,
Yeah, the
for example,
Champions League or the cups and that. Yeah,
as in like the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, or how clubs do in the Champions League or Europa League, how far English clubs get in respective tournaments. So
yeah,
I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I just think the way we recruit, and this obviously depends if Speakman or even if Gazolfi, one of them at least stays
yeah,
for that duration. I think, say for example, because I actually wouldn't be surprised if Speakman left within the next year or something like that, and Speakman's kind of got us to a point, and then Gazolfi will hopefully take us to the very next level. But I just think if we stay up the first year, we're going to have even more license to spend. We're going to have more money to play with, and I think
yeah.
with the recruitment we would do, the profile of player would go up even more. And I think,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and look, we're not naive. There's every chance we get relegated. We know that, but if we can manage to stay up this coming season, then however hard it's going to be, I genuinely think I could see us progressing to the level that I want us to be at. Because my long-term ambition for Sunderland, not that the club will care what I think, but like my longer-term ambition for Sunderland is to see us play in Europe and competing for Europe.
absolutely, Michael. That should be every fan's aspirations. Yeah. In the day, look, we are an absolutely massive football club. We're a massive football club. Yeah. We've just been mismanaged through the Ellis short years, and then obviously after that, Stuart Donald.
Yep.
But now it seems like it seems like KLD has got a plan. Yes, it might have seemed like he wasn't spending money, but when you look at it now, looking back, he got the recruitment. He obviously brought Christian Speakman in, the sports director. He's done wonders. Let's be honest, Michael. He's done wonders, hasn't he? He's made mistakes. Yep, he's made mistakes, but he's signed a lot more better players than worse, hasn't he? Let's be honest. And he's overall. I mean, the money was spent and the money was brought in. I mean, look, Ross Stewart. We talked about this on my video on my channel. Ross Stewart bought for 1.7 million. Sanford for 10. Lehaji Prophet, that was another one. Jack Clark was bought for 1 million, sell for 15, rising to 20. there was the other one, and then obviously the big one was Job. But then there's other ones as well, Michael. But we seem to be well. It's been a long time since our football club was sort of bought players and then sell them on. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, we went from what was it, signing Stephen Fletcher for like 15 million or 12 million or whatever it was, and then he ends up going for free a number of years later. Obviously, we had he who shall not be named, who did some despicable things that we don't condone. We'll talk about that more on, but yeah. But then you're looking at, I mean, even Jack Rodwell was sacked by the club effectively. Same with Didier and Dong. You know and oh Jesus Christ, you're going through some of these signings. Goodness me. But yeah, but yeah, we're at the point where we are starting to look after ourselves in terms of being able to sell players for profit. And again, like I said to you on Thursday, fans don't like to hear this. We don't like to. A lot of fans just want to see the club spend money and win games. But I think there is more of an understanding from a lot of fans now that you can't just go and do that anymore. You have to. You have to have. So, for example, like if you look at, like I made a comparison before, and it was 7 years ago, granted, but when Liverpool sold, was it Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona? It was 130 odd million they got for him. That would have paid for Van Dijk. That would have paid for what's his name, Mo Salah. That would have paid for Sadio Mane. I mean, I think they had Sadio Mane before, to be fair, but they would have Alisson, goalkeeper, not long afterwards. That would have.
That was a big sign, 30 million.
That one sale pays for 3 massive signings for them. So that's kind of how it goes, really. So if, say, for example, even if we got relegated, or even if I suppose even if we stayed up, if say Diarra plays out of his skin this season and is a big reason why we stayed up, or put in a massive performance this season anyway, then I wouldn't be surprised if you sell him up. We signed him for, what was it, 30? Now, obviously, depending if we put a release clause in his contract, which I'd be surprised if there isn't one. But even if say you sold 60 to 70 in a year's time, if he has a blistering season, then that helps you out with PSR, and then you can enable you to go and spend even more, and you're starting from a better level than what you were when you signed Diarra. So this is the point I made, and like this is where even 18 months ago, some of the stuff we're talking about now, I was saying 18 months ago is what would maybe not get into the Prem and signing Real Madrid players, but like I mean the point of like actually progressing a bit further. And this is what I mean as a fan. I try to think beyond just the next 6 months. I try to
of course, yeah.
You've made a joke saying, I'm convinced, Michael, right? You can see into the future and do all. It's just me trying to have educated guesses.
But Michael, I mean, you remember back, right? We'll go back a little bit here. You remember, sorry to put down on this, but the quality of players, and Michael's mentioned the quality of players now to the past and the present. I mean, in that Premier League season when we signed Didier and Dong, we signed Dilla Bodji, who was, Jesus, I mean, he was atrocious, wasn't he? We signed was a Pino, he was finished. And then even the season after, we went in the Championship and we signing Brendan Galloway, there's Tyrus Browning, that one of you, like Michael, the striker who put his James Vaughan. I mean, some of them players we signed, man. Honestly, the one who crashed his car down there, Seaburn. What was he called again?
The one who got drunk on Netflix.
Aye.
Yeah.
What was it? The Irish one.
Hey, Darren Gibson, yeah.
Just Darren Gibson, aye. Jesus Christ.
Aye, Darren, it's you, mate. You're drunk and crashing your car when we're going to get relegated to League One, you idiot. Because this is a guy who a Leicester fan, actually, as you can see here. He says, I reckon you should sign Conor Gody, the absolute gobshite. No, thanks. I think I'm all right. Yeah.
No, it's great that way. I mean, the players we're signing now, the calibre of players. I mean, yes, you're not going to get it right every time. I mean, you've been picky, aren't you? Where, I mean, Speakman signed some players, but you've... I mean, Abdullah Bar, what do you think of him, Michael? And sort of some of the players who didn't sort of make it, did they get a chance? Hadji didn't really get a chance, but I didn't think he was much, to be fair. No, Hadji.
Yeah, do you know what? Right. Well, quickly on. I mean, I think Bar's gone. I think Bar will go this summer. I think we can probably get a little bit of a fee for him, even if he got like 700k to $1 million or something like that. Just hypothetically, by the way, I don't have any information on that, but I would imagine that if you got somewhere anywhere near that, you're at least getting your money back. Because I believe
Danny Graham. Oh God, I forget him. Jesus Christ.
Which two morons said, "Oh, I think you'll be a good signing, me." I did as well. I think we both we thought that Danny Graham would be. Well, you can't get it right all the time, but.
Jeez, I know that was exactly. I thought he would have. I thought he would have sort of like.
In League One, I thought he would have done a job.
Aye, Jesus
But then
Christ.
again, I still stand by Will Grigg should have worked, and look how that turned out. So
Well, he was. He's proven. He's proven that in that division. He just didn't want to. I didn't. I don't. I'll never get that. He didn't want to be here, but he wanted to be at Wigan. Sorry, like, but all right, Wigan or Sunderland. Wigan or Sunderland. There's something that right there. There's something that right inside there. If you want, I mean, fair enough. If you live around that way, that's fair
I
enough.
was going to say, I think he's from the Lancashire sort of area, so I can
Uh,
understand that to a degree. But at the same
but
time,
But Michael,
not wanting to be at Sunderland, things like that.
you still got to be professional, and you still got to put performance in. He just didn't seem like he doesn't, to me. It didn't seem like he wanted to be here, and that transpired onto the pitch when he was playing football matches. I mean, his first game when he ran around the keeper and he missed the open. Well, it was sort of an open goal, wasn't it? I went, nah, that epitomises his Sunderland career. That really.
And do you know, to be fair, that wasn't even his worst miss in the Sunderland shirt either. That's in other words, the MK Dons game during lockdown, which I will never ever forget.
Oh God, God,
That was that's arguably the worst miss I've ever seen. Like the worst miss. He's literally like 1 yard out. No one's challenging him, and he doesn't even get the ball. I'm like, oh my god! Just when you realise it wasn't going to work for you. Here's one in French. SCFC French national team next season. Lol.
I seen that comment. I seen that. Cheers for the comments. Cheers for all the comments as well. There's 160
Sorry,
odd people.
guys.
Michael, that's brilliant. Hit that like button for Michael. Let's try and get him to 6K. He's not far short of 6K. Come on. Acacia's been trying her best to get people to subscribe as well. That's fantastic by Acacia, by the way, as well. Thank you, Acacia.
And we've got 92 likes. So let's see if we can get to
100. Come on, all right, let's get 100 likes.
Yeah, that should be more than achievable. All right, well, we've got 5 more subs. We're on 5,986. Come on.
Right, Michael. Duncan Donut, what more?
Donut, what more? That count for 14 likes.
No, I'll tell you what, he was fast though. He had some pace about him, didn't he? He just wasn't very good.
You know what's weird though, right? Well, yeah, it was kind of like I think what was it? Was it the phrase "all pace, no brain" or something? It was pretty much like he had the pace, and I think in League One he was okay. Like, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's been that injured that much since he's left Sunderland. So maybe our medical team's just shit. Who knows? Goodness knows. Here's one for James, and I think this is very fair. When you're talking earlier about I've said this constantly. There is a big difference between being realistic and pessimistic, and it's the same thing for realism and optimism as well. There's optimism, there's pessimism, and there's realism. Realism sometimes often in the middle of the two between them. So I think it just goes to prove, didn't it? And again, like Sean knows, and I'm going to rub it in his face again that I said this, but everyone was pessimistic going into the playoffs and going, oh, we haven't got a chance. And I said, get past Coventry, we win them.
Michael did say this, I'll verify, he said this all along, and he said he had the same feeling he had, which was 3 years, was it 3 years prior in the League One
final? When Lord Voldemort got us up from League One. When Alex Neil I had the same feeling that this season just
gone. You did,
when we went up from League One. I had the exact same thing. I said, my gut feeling says we're winning the playoffs.
Do you know what I said though, Michael? I said to people, take no notice of the last 6 games of the season. Do you know why I says this? I says, because what we'll be doing is, once we secured the playoff position, it was secured, Lebris at that time then, to look at his squad and see the injured players don't push them back, keep them, let them come back, and be fresh. He can rotate the team, bring some young'uns in, keep the core players fresh, and I think that's exactly what he done right. And he said that in one of his interviews after the game and the playoff final against Sheffield United. He said that in one of the, I think it was beIN Sports. It was one of the foreign sports channels. He said the exact words of what I was telling people. He said, he kept players back. He didn't rush players back who was injured. And he had that sort of
in mind, didn't he?
Yeah, of course, and I think like people can see what they want about the 2-leg playoff against Coventry. Yes, we might have had a little bit of luck, but looking back at it now and looking at the 2 games, I thought we defended very well, in the exception of maybe the equalising goal with Rodoni when he scored just after we scored. I was fuming with that, allowing the cross, but then I thought at home, I said to you, Michael, I wasn't impressed with the way we sort of tried to win the game 0-0. I remember I said that, trying to win the game 0-0. I thought we could have just went for it more. I think if we'd have scored early doors, the roof would have come off. Do you know what I mean? And I think it would have rattled their players. And I thought we just sort of sat in and just sort of trying to contain them and defend. And then when they scored, I was thinking, we could lose this. But thankfully, in the end, we found a way, which we seem to always this season found a way in the big games. Do you know what I mean? In the final, like getting beat 1-0, and then the second goal went in. I watched it again today. I watched it and see Michael so many times. The volley by Burrows, and I was in the ground and I was saying, "Oh God, this is over. This 2-0. This is going to be 3 or 4-0." And then all of a sudden, a minute later, looking over there, I went, "VR check." I went, "What's going on?" VR check. I went, "Oh, this is a lifeline, this." And obviously, we can't see the replays and what's going on, but we've just got to pray to God that something's happened and then somebody's offside. And thankfully,
Yeah.
there was a guy in the line of vision of the goalkeeper of Patterson, so that was disallowed. And then once that was that bit there, that was the lift that we needed. That was that bit right there. That was the lift, and I was like, Jesus, good God, we've getting a one here. And then second half, we started the game a lot better. And then obviously, I think Dan Neil was he wasn't passing the ball very well, and I said he's got to come off here. Circum was the one who wasn't playing very well as well. There was a few of them on that day who didn't perform, and he took Dan Neil off. Fair play to Regis, but he took Dan Neil off, and he's been very I think loyal to Dan Neil all season. He took him off, and he bought Isidore and he bought Watson on, and then 2 subs, and Roberts as well. Bought them subs changed the game, Michael. The Roberts, the assist to Meander. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Do you know, to be honest, I think in the course of the playoffs, I think the only game I would argue we got slightly fortunate was the Coventry home leg. That's the only one I would argue that I think. And even then, I'm thinking, well, they didn't batter us, did they?
They didn't bat, Michael. They didn't batter us. We were just sitting back and just
Absolutely.
defending. That's all we're doing, hitting counter attack. They didn't. I mean,
Well,
what
that's
clear
not true.
tell me what clear chances that has in the game. Really, did they have clear
Well, to be
cuts?
fair, right? Okay, they had the Mason Clark one, obviously, that they scored. They had the Hadji right header at the
They
end
had
of the
that was late on.
right.
Nine. Yeah.
There was one that I think Radoni or Sakamoto had in the first half. I think was, But my point was that was the only game out of the 3 where I felt we did get a bit fortunate. The first leg, I will always die on this hill that apart from the Radoni goal, we defended excellently all night in the first leg, and I felt like we earned the look that we got. And then even at Wembley, Sheffield United were physically decent in the first opening 20 minutes, but I wouldn't say they were anything particularly brilliant.
No.
Whereas I felt the last half an hour, we battered them. Last half an hour, we dominated United. So
definitely. I mean, the last from about 60 odd minutes, we started to really turn the volume up, and we were starting to play. And I think, like you see, the sub Watson come on, he just give us that little bit of because I think Mundell was a little bit struggling. I thought Mundell was poor, and I think Watson was sort of like. Even in the 2 league games, home and away, Watson was brilliant against Sheffield United. I think he changed the game, but I thought as well Roberts just sort of was more composed when he had the ball. He was getting in that hole, and his little ball into Meander was just telepathic. It was absolutely brilliant, that ball. And Meander's first touch, watching again today, it was just sublime. First touch was brilliant, and he's set and bang, good night. Go! And then obviously the winning goal. I mean, I don't know what Kiefer Moore was doing, but he probably still having nightmares now, because I felt sorry for him, like, bless him, because he had a good game, didn't he? And his header any other day, that's gone in the bottom corner, but thankfully Patterson pulls off a
in the 90th minute. He had an absolutely fantastic game in the 95th minute. What I'm thinking is, I felt guilty over not signing for Sunderland the year before. So I think, here you go. I'll help you out and get to the Premier League. Go on. We'll just
Well, he did. It was funny because when met him come on for 09, right? Obviously Welsh teammates, and they they had a little smile at each other, and there's like must have had a little joke or whatever. So I'm wondering if I think he's give Metman a little present there.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Playing golf together. Yeah. Here's how one man, and this is actually she's a comment for you, Sean. I recall after our League One playoff final, Wigan said they'll be in the Premier League before us, and we'll be back in League One where we belong. Aye, okay, Wigan fans. I wonder how fun, and I wonder why I don't like Wigan. But yeah, that's just quite funny when they were going about, we signed all your best players. Aye, and you got relegated. Well done. That's how good. Greg found the net. He just forgot the ball. Oh God. See how many likes they can get. Yeah. There was one comment here I want to ask your opinion on, actually. See if I can quickly get it up. Where is it? It was not far up away from here. Ah, here we go. It's this one. What do you reckon about this? Because this is a big sign. Kyle Walker joining Burnley in the week. Don't know what you think about that.
Oh, I said that earlier on. I don't want to interrupt you, Michael, because it's your channel and stuff. But I seen that earlier, and it was obviously Kyle Watt. He's going to be on a big wage there, isn't he? Obviously, he's got a signing 2-year deal. I mean, I think Burnley will get relegated. No disrespect to Burnley fans if anyone's watching. I just think they're going straight back down. But I think Kyle Walker he's looked at it as well. He'll be getting 100 grand a week, no doubt about it, and the World Cups next year, he'd be getting regular football. I'm not saying he wasn't getting it when he moved from Man City, but he'd be getting regular football. I think that's what he'll need leading to the World Cup. But for me, I've seen a sort of slight decline in Kyle Waters' game. Even though I wasn't a big fan of him anyway, I don't think he's ever been a good defender. He's always been fast, Michael. He's fast as anything.
I think he's been made up for his lack of defensive awareness.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And then, I mean, for me, I'm glad we sort of didn't
To
go
be
down
fair,
that route. Like.
I think for Burnley, it's a signing that's got. It, when I said I want Prem experience, that's the type of level I would have wanted.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
at the same time, his wage, he's probably going to be the highest paid player in their squad now.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I get it, but personally for me, I think Burnley will finish bottom. And I've
Yeah,
had
Bernie, 100%. They're finishing bottom. And it's just a chase of the next two teams. Hopefully, we'll finish
hopefully
below.
join them and we finish above someone else as well. But we'll see. Quickly, what do you think about this question? Any news on Dan Neil contract? Is he signing a new one, or do you think he will? Well, as far as I'm aware, I'm not aware of him signing a new one as of yet. Whether he signs one, I don't know. But unless you've got any different opinion to me on that,
There was whispers of him. Did certain sign you a deal? I think him, certain, and Trey Hume. I think
no,
them are the three.
Hannah put a comment earlier that Hume's close to signing one, apparently.
Yeah.
But again, depends on how true the sources are. I don't know, but I think there was contracts offered. Last I heard, there were contracts offered to Sirkin, Hume, Mayenda, Neil. There was one more.
No, yeah, I heard that as well.
Mayenda, Neil, and there was one more, and I keep missing who it is. Oh, Rig. That was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Rig quickly, I think his contract could do with something because he's got 2 years left on his current one. And I think eventually we accept he will leave us at some point. So if you get him on a long contract, like a long contract, then you can get an even bigger fee. But yeah, go on.
Michael, what would you, I mean, he's one for your own Rig, right? Now, what would you do if somebody come in with a 20 million bid for Rig right now? What would you do?
Flat out reject it.
You would you?
Yep.
I'm sort of like, do you know what?
Minimum 25 to 30.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that he's going to be as good as what people think. I'm just thinking maybe we should cash out.
No, Sean, don't say that. Say that he's going to be mint, and then people will listen to you, and then we'll overpay for him, and then we'll see he's going to be as good.
All right. I mean, the Wiseman Seed, I think they put something on other day, and they were saying on Instagram was something about somebody's comment said, "Do you think Chris Weigl will get his chance this season?" And I'm not sure if he will. To be fair, even though. You know, it's the next step up. He got a lot of chances in the Championship, but if he does get his chance in the Premier League, he's gonna have to take them, isn't he? He's gonna have to take them.
Well, all right then. So let's say someone came in with an offer of 20 million pound plus add-ons for Rig. I'm guessing you'd probably be selling then.
I would, Michael. I honestly would, because I think I'm not convinced he's going to hit the heights of what people think he's going to hit. So. And if he's in the Premier League and he's getting watched like by top scouts, that could literally decrease his value. Now, if somebody comes in with a silly offer this summer, I honestly would. I would take it. I would absolutely take it. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. But I think with the PSR thing, I think with Rig, you know, if you're selling an academy player, it's clear profit because you don't owe anyone a sell-on clause or anything like that because he's come through your academy. I wouldn't be totally surprised if Rig was sold this summer. But it depends on, because I mean, I got to remember at the minute. I mean, to me, everyone compares every midfielder to everyone. I mean, for example, I saw people comparing Job to Lefay, for instance, when Job left. But for me, that's an accurate comparison. For me, Lefay and Rig are a similar type of players as a number 10.
Lefay and Rig, yeah.
I don't think Rig gets in ahead of Lefay.
No way.
So I don't know, but it just depends. I mean, if we get a massive offer, then goodness knows. I mean, look, I think Chris Rig will make it really, really far in the game. But
you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Michael, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. I'm not sure.
People just listen to me and overpay for him now, and then you'll find out, Sean.
I'm not. I mean, look at you might sort of surprise, but I just think, Mike, and again, it's a big step up. The Premier League's a huge step up next season, and we were talking about this, and we're seeing which players could sort of are going to be able to make that leap in the Premier League next season. It's going to be very hard. I mean, look at the players. I mean, let's go through the team again. Patterson, we both agree Patterson isn't good enough. We need a new keeper, right? Sirkin. I would have said before, I thought Sirkin was good enough. Now, watching the last few games of the season, I thought he was poor. He's poor in the playoff final. I thought he was poor against Coventry. and I got took off, but I think that was for Yelda, who I think was going to. I think the brace was thinking about penalties, and maybe Seller was better penalties. Trey Human, he's a fan favourite. He puts a good tackle in. I think you'll see next season if he's a right back, you'll see him next season get found out. Watch his space. Centre backs, Ballard, I think is more than capable. He's shown potential. It's just if he can keep fit. 09, I think just use him as a squad player, League Cup, FA Cup games, things like that. Roberts.
I think we're kind of answering your questions here, but go on.
Roberts, I think Roberts is sort of a case of a squad player at best. If we can get a sizable fee, Southampton linked with him last summer. If Southampton want to come in and pay such and such, I wouldn't be against selling Roberts. Mundell again, is he Premier League quality? Well, I think that the new guys who come in, I think Mundell will just be used as a rotation player. I think Michael possibly. Lafay, I think Lafay's shown his quality where he could do it in the Premier League, definitely. Dan Neil's shown glimpses, but again, he was poor in the League Cup final, and he's sometimes a bit sloppy in possession. So I'm not sure about Dan Neil as well. There's loads of question marks here, Michael. Miranda, I think Miranda could surprise a few teams and players next season. Isidore, squad player at best. And I'll let you go back through and see, because we've done it on my channel, but I'll let you go around and do your thing, Michael, now.
What we should be saying is people just go and watch fans react.
Yeah. Like you say, I'll help you, Michael. You're like sort of part of my channel, and I'll help you as much as I can on yours. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, bro. Thanks very much. Well, to be fair, right? I mean, like, I'm just quickly go through more of these comments. Circa's not good enough. Evidently showed that. When we finally catching up with the comments. So have a quick look. So I'm just going to skim through them. I think that this is another one. Reynaldo, the Atletico Madrid guy. I think that he'll be the main left back, and Cirkin will be second choice.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What was it? Chris Reed, the squad's obviously loved throughout. Well, funny enough, there's actually no point in me going through much of the squad, because the players that I think can do it, Thane has literally just said for me, which is Ballard, Hume, Lafay, Mayenda. They're the four that I'm the most optimistic.
Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I said Hume. No, not for me. But I hope you're right, Michael. I hope you're right.
You've been
Lafay, Mayenda.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I think you need a new keeper.
Definitely.
I think Ballard and Hume. I think.
Okay.
I think Ballard.
I'll start the band. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I think Ballard and Hume will start. If you need to go off Sean, by the way, then that's totally fine. By the way, just to.
And I was thinking 2-6. Clay, all right.
Right, I'll quickly answer this while Sean's there, right?
Yeah.
I think Hume and Ballard, I think, will start. I think Lafay will start, obviously. Ender will start at the same time. I think... I'm not sure on Cirkin. We need a new centre-back, obviously, because Meffam's gone, and 09 would get murdered in the Prem. I think... he might be the defensive mids.
I'm all right. Just Claire's fine. It's just
that's fine.
I'll just have me. I'm gonna have cheesy beans on toast when I finish this.
That sounds like just Macam cuisine.
We need to.
Don't tell the Geordies that cheesy chips, all that stuff. No, but anyway, no, I was quickly saying I think I like Hume, Ballard, Meander, and Lafay, but I think you need a new keeper, left back, centre half. Possibly a new centre mid with experience. I wouldn't complain at one of them, or with a bit of height, possibly.
Yeah.
Left wing, right wing, and maybe a striker. But even then, so that's only about 7 or 8 players, not many. So
Michael, this new guy.
But just quickly, like we said on your channel. Sorry, Sean. Like we said on your channel, you've got to be ruthless, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It sounds absolutely, but you have to be ruthless on the squad, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't carry passengers, and at the end of the day, it's a cutthroat business, and I think they've shown Michael though early does. They've went boom keeper. They know. I mean, the keep one fell through. He went to Saudi, but they've went look in the squad. They went, this is what we need. They've getting the left back, so they're not convinced by Cirkin. Yeah, so they've signed the left back straight away. They've signed two midfielders. So obviously Joe went. So they're sort of prioritising where positions where I think where they really need to strengthen straight away. That they're trying to get them in early doors. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you want signings in before pre-season. I mean, pre-season next weekend starts, isn't it? I mean, like apparently we want a lot of them in before we go to Portugal, but you want a lot of them in a good few weeks before the Prem starts, ideally, so that you can have them a chance to gel and bond together. Really. Yeah. So let's have a look. We need new keeper, new striker, left wing, and then the CDM. I reckon wouldn't complain at that. Meander is in the top 6 promising players this season English Premier League. I'm guessing that means fantasy football, possibly. But got someone called Matthew Waite. I don't know if you know this guy. I'm guessing you do. Big up, Sean. Like, can't wait to catch you at work tomorrow.
Matthew Waite. Oh, is that?
I mean, I mean, I'm terrible with names anyway.
Oh,
So
is that like Carl Matty? I'm assuming
that might
someone.
be who it is then. 09 is recovery. I'm just going back to quickly see if I can.
I don't know. Second name Matty at work. There's a couple of Matties, and you'll have to.
Fair enough. Matty's a common name. Quickly, no, he's not. Bournemouth activated a 1-year extension in his contract. If he was free, I think we probably would have signed him by now. To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a quick. I think I've got.
That's what I was, Michael. John Hassel. That's what I was having a little, not argument, but a little debate, and he was respectful. That's John Hassel. Just comment there, and he says, "Sean Sadiki also made 100 appearances, same as Ronaldo, so they've already vast experience." You're right, John, and I'm not saying you're wrong there. But what I was saying is that obviously in the Premier League, they haven't got any experience, but I think all of our players where he signed the season are going to be from probably Belgian leagues, French leagues. German, Dutch. I don't think we'll sign any players. Me and Mike is agreed from England because the markets to signing English players. It's you might as well forget it. But what I was saying, John, was just a case of I just think maybe we need to buy maybe one or two, Michael, who's got experience. Do you know what I mean? If the Premiership, I think Jordan Henderson would have been great. Like, oh, Kieran Egan. That's how I take to work. One of my friends, Kieran.
Oh, right. Sorry, this is the one that John's just said. Sorry, I was trying to find this comment. No, to be fair, I just think one or two Premier experience players would not go amiss. I think it would be a really big help towards the squad, and I just feel like we need to just give the lads as big a help as possible. I mean, we both agree, as we said, we're not going to sign players from the Premier League or from any Premier League club. The only way it would happen is if we're going for a player who's in the last year of their contract. I could maybe see something happening then. But apart from that, I think we're going to be going for players from abroad. And I've said before, as long as they're good enough, I don't mind that.
That's it. I mean, we've discussed this. The players were signed. I mean, the Diarra, straight away, people said, oh, he's got massive potential. Dakiti, massive potential. So we were doing this in the Championship in League One. We signed players back then who had massive potential. Remember, like Jack Clarkson, Ross Stewart's, Serpent sort of thing. And if this is another level up, while we brought like Isofi and the new director of football, then you've got to like sort of believe in their process and their and I'm sure that they know what they're doing, Michael. You know what I mean? And they're doing it early as well, which is good.
Well, probably because I don't think we know we need to. Well, actually, funny enough, right? There was I'll get onto a screenshot in a minute, but I'm just having a quick look. See EFL 2. Hang on, I'll quickly go back to Ian's comment. Sorry, SJ. Hang on. EFL market 2 inflated 20 million for Josh Sargent is fucked. And by the way, Sean, you can swear all as much as you want. By the way, I'm not getting monetized for this, so you can.
Hi ho!
Yeah, hi ho. You just call like Will Grigg is shit. But yeah, no. To be fair, that's what I mean. If Norwich are asking for £20 million for Josh Sargent, now for me, he's definitely one of the best strikers in the Championship. But I think it'd be mental to pay anywhere near that because of the injuries that he's got. If he wasn't injury prone, I'd say 20 to 25 million to easily get for him. But
is that for Michael?
Josh Sargent from Norwich City.
Oh yeah.
Striker, the American striker.
Aye.
But yeah, so look, there's going to be. And where is it?
We've been linked with everybody. Michael, haven't we? Have you seen the players where you've been linked with?
Oh no, it's mental. I'd be surprised if we get anyone from the Championship. To be honest, I mean, I think this is the thing. Ipswich did that last summer, though. Ipswich, because I've seen us compared to Ipswich quite a few times, but the difference is when Ipswich were signing players for big money, they were signing the best of the Championship. You go, hang on, Jack Clark was mint last season, sign him. Hang on, Jaden Philogene was mint last season, sign him. Hang on, Darren Roche's a good centre back in the Championship, let's sign him. Jacob Greaves, go for him. Sammy Smoddick's top goal scorer, go for him. That's kind of that's not necessarily a bad thing on Ipswich's part because I think this season Ipswich will probably be in a really good position to bounce straight back. But the difference is Sunderland are going for players that are really what's the one I'm looking for? Seem to be very highly rated on a different
level. Rated, exactly. Highly rated in the top divisions in other leagues. Do you know what I mean?
And with all due respect, by the way, Sunderland should be able to attract better signings than Ipswich, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely, Michael. That's absolutely. Much bigger club. So no disrespect to Ipswich. Much bigger club.
No, absolutely. No, so SJ, who's paying 20 million for Sargent. I think Leeds and Burnley were interested in him. Well, hopefully, if that's the extent of the deals they're going to do, then hopefully we've got a good chance of finishing above both of them. But we'll see. Long way to go in the winter yet.
Mhm.
SJ has been listening to the Wiseman say. Right, quickly, actually, I'll get this screenshot up. I should have probably prepared it to put on the screen itself, but I'm too lazy for that. So let's see if we can find it. But so this was Wiseman say. I don't know if you know, Sean. Do you know the Sacher Belgian journalist? Sacher, I've forgotten what his
Yes. Yes. I've seen him.
he
Yeah.
wrote a story about Petrovic midway last week. Anyway, so he's been on the Wise Men Say podcast. And long story short, the gist of it is, and you'll find this interesting, the bullet points were as follows. Firstly, said we'll make 8 or 9 more signings on top of what we've done now, I think.
Mhm.
He says he's never seen anyone like KLD at his age. Says he's so intelligent, even with all his money sitting on balloons, he
Mhm.
uses the Premier League and gives him the money the Premier League gives him to enhance the club and the transfers. Says KLD. Now this bit I found particularly interesting. Sorry, I'm going to let's quickly go through some more comments. Anyway, says KLD knows he needs league experience, but hints at them being still younger players who can go for even more money next year. Says now this bit you'll like. If you rate Petrovic anyway.
He's really yeah.
I know it's a bit He said, says Petrovic is close to being finalised. He says it's not a case of the player now, it's between Chelsea and Sunderland to agree the fee.
Great fee.
Says the player is waiting for the deal to be closed. Believe the narrative was pushed that the deal wasn't advanced because we wanted to work on it and get it closed quietly. Says he isn't surprised by this as he broke it early. Says KLD's phone call with Talby went really well. Player is happy with the project and what is happening here, whilst understanding he will not be the only player coming in his position. Says Gazolfi is important, has been given the key. Sounds like keys to the city of Sunderland. And the last bit mentions a number 10 and a left winger as 2 positions we're looking at.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
Interesting, that, Michael. Interesting.
I haven't listened to the podcast, so maybe to be honest, I haven't listened. I've gone off Wise Men Say quite a bit, if I'm totally honest. I haven't listened to them for so long, but I might listen to this.
You said that, didn't you? What's the reason? In fact, no, I don't want to go down that route anyway.
Well, let's just say that they're entitled to their opinions, by the way. But let's just say they've really their views on. For me, I felt like they were very conspiratorial with some of the stuff they were saying about Speakman in particular. But I want to stress that I don't know. They might have known stuff that I didn't, to be fair. But let's just say I've really disagreed with their stance on a lot of things. But I haven't listened to them for last year, so they might have been a lot better in the last year or so, in the sake of being balanced and fair. So I don't. And there are some good people there, by the way. I want to stress there are some people I do get on with there. So I'm not going to throw I don't want to throw anyone there under the mud. But even though I've kind of done that somewhat. But anyway, look. But either way, look, I might listen to this one. Apparently, the podcast went down pretty well. So
Petrovic, he's really highly thought of as well, Michael. You know, as well. I think they're very reluctant to sort of sell him as well. Chelsea, do you know what I mean? So I'm like thinking at the back of the mind, will it definitely happen? Will they make it awkward for us, or will they try and force us away, sort of thing?
Maybe. I was going through some of these, and the comment says, "Fuck the mags."
Well, Michael, would you say that Petrovic is as good as the Belgic who went to Saudi? Would you say he's as good as him, or?
The honest answer is I don't know. I don't even know how good Bulker is. I'm just going everything that we're going for in terms of signings. I'm going purely off word of mouth.
Off word of mouth. I know it's crazy. It's crazy because the players we're going for, we've never heard of. Just basically from I wouldn't say they're unknowners, but they're just from other leagues. We don't really watch them leagues. We watch the Premier League and the Championship. It's very watch the Spanish league sometimes. The Liga, Serie A sometimes, but it's very rare you watch the Belgian or the French leagues, isn't it? To be fair, I mean, apart from Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League.
Have people like Dougie Critchley who works at Sky Sports, for example. He's probably someone who works a lot, who actually follows us on Twitter. Actually, to be fair, but he probably would follow. He's probably much more in a position to comment than me because he probably will have followed more foreign leagues than I ever would have. Here's one. Well, hang on. I do agree. Your most experienced and better these days will be more. Here's one. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I heard that the other day. I heard that Michael the other day, but do you know what? I think was a Liverpool link with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think we'd sign him. First of all, I don't think would Hackney want to go from Middlesbrough to Sunderland.
Well, that's the thing. We were talking about this and thinking, well, look at Cattermole. Cattermole was a Borough lad. He was a local Borough lad, and he moved from Wigan, wasn't at the time, to Sunderland. But he was a Borough lad, and he loves Sunderland now. He obviously still support Barra, of course, but he loves Sunderland. Classes us as his team sort of thing now.
I think it's a
But
different thing when a player goes directly from one of the two clubs to the other. I know Leadbitter did, but obviously the difference is Leadbitter's already loved at both clubs, whereas I think with Hackney, what happened as a squad option, possibly, but I think we could get better.
I see him, Michael. I'm just switching in, but Thean says about the keepers. He reckons, and Thean's pretty cleared up. He's saying that he thinks that Petrovic is better than the other keeper we're linked with, who we're very close to getting. He says he's better.
Yeah, well, fair enough then. I mean, if he's watched more of foreign football than I have.
No, Thean's pretty cleared up, like Michael. He knows what he's saying.
We'll see if he's right or not. Michael says Michael Ipswich are now outside London. That is true, but at the same time, we've still attracted some really good quality players, and I still believe that we should be able to get. I still believe we should be able to get better players than Ipswich. But I do take the point you mean. The geography, and at the end of the day, we should be able to offer quite decent money without obviously being ridiculous.
Yeah.
On the next comment, God, this is what happens when you're tricky. Still can't quite believe this is happening to us, Bill. You and us both, mate. Petrovic will be one of the signings of the window. I agree, Premier League experience, but these players will adapt, as do most players who have to come to the Premier League from abroad. The thing to sort of quickly touch on what John's just said there, I do think we'll all start to wrap it up shortly, guys, by the way, because my plan only allows me to go for 2 hours, but we could probably talk for another half an hour if you wanted. What I was going to say was, I think one of the things that I like to think that we do our due diligence generally when it comes to signings, and I wonder if we're thinking, how quickly do we think these are going to adapt to Premier League football and not get overwhelmed by it? And that's what I'm hoping we'll have done our homework in that regard beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, but that's what I would like to think we've done that sort of homework on these players. I think Diarra, for example, will adapt really well to Premier League.
Yeah.
This is going to sound contradictory considering I've not watched him play or I don't know much about him, but it's a gut feeling based on the profile he came with and how that was some big clubs after him that I think there's a chance he will adapt really well. But I think we'll have done our due diligence on a lot of these signings, but unless Sean thinks differently, of course.
No, Michael, do you know what? I definitely 1,000,000% trust the I'm not going to say the words, trust the process. I'll say the model. No. I trust these guys because look, you've got to think, Michael, they're getting this from League One, yeah, without spending anything. It's from League One to the Championship, from the Championship to the Premier League, and you've got to think from the Championship to the Premier League as well, Michael. They've getting this with their recruitment, yeah, with a limited budget and spending. They've getting this from the Championship to the Premier League with teams would come down and that parachute payment monies. That's a massive advantage over us. So for us to do that and get out the league, you've got to give the recruitment. KLD, Speakman, Stuart Harvey, obviously Giussoffi's just come in now. You've got to give these guys. They've got to give them the credit that they deserve. Yeah, Michael. Yeah. And I trust them, and I've got faith that they will. They'll be researching every avenue. They'll be looking at every position that we need. I think they know we need a striker. I mean, Meander might pop up in surprise little players, but we're definitely a striker. They know we need a goalkeeper. They're very close with one of them. I've got faith that they'll get the required signs we need, and I believe that will stay up next season, Michael. I'm confident.
If we get the signings that we're linked with, and they're as good as everyone says they are, I agree. Yeah. I've got a gut feeling we will stay up, but it's all about. But again, I think it's. I would probably ask. I'm going to come back to that in a month's time, right? Before the season. We'll see what happens. There's still a long way to go yet. There's still pre-season.
Of course.
Here's one for you. This is an example, by the way, of how inflated the English market is with the price tag this player was attracting. But look, and I said this to Sean earlier on Thursday when we recorded. Ben Doak. So for those who don't know who he is the Liverpool winger who was on loan at Middlesbrough last season. Now, I said I could see Sunderland signing him until I heard the price tag. The price tag was 30 million quid that's been linked with Ben Doak. Now, this is the example of what we're on about. So someone who has barely played, hasn't played in the Prem, has had half a season in the Championship, undoubtedly a talented player, but is apparently worth 30 million quid now. That's what I mean by the English market being ridiculously inflated.
That's what I mean.
There's no way we're going to sign anyone from English clubs unless it's someone who has a year left on their contract or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. But you know, I mean, Ben Doak, I wouldn't have complained with him generally, but I think if we're getting Talby, I think we'll get another winger. And if we're getting, obviously, who knows? Maybe we might get Jack Grealish on loan. Who knows? But I think that's a pipe dream, to be totally honest.
Now, I'd rather us not go silly though. Like, I mean, Jack Grealish is going to be like, I'm just being realistic.
No,
Yeah, he's not going to come to Sunderland. Like, not being disrespectful to us, but he's been in the team that's been win the Premier League, Champions League.
Do you know what I could see him going back to? I could see him returning to Villa, possibly.
Nah, I was just about to say that.
Europa
Yeah,
League.
his boyhood team. I could see him possibly going back there. Yeah,
That would make
yeah.
sense. Well, speaking of one, Jack, let's go to another one. What about this? What do you think of that?
Would you take that Jack Clark on loan? No, I wouldn't, because
Funnily enough,
I know my friend who I take to work, Kieran Egan, he said he would take him back, and we've talked about this briefly, but I think Mundell's probably as good as him, and I think that with the signs we'll make, he'll probably be better than what we've got anyway. And I think Jack Clark, although maybe he's not given a huge chance at Ipswich, he did have a few games though. He hasn't really took it, has he? And hasn't really worked out. But maybe he next season to stay at Ipswich, have a good season, get him, and Berry's back to the Premier League, and then he could sort of go again without. I don't think Jack Clark's. I'm not convinced he's Premier League quality, Mike. I don't know. There's a big question mark for me.
yeah, no, I don't think I would take him either. To be fair, I think I don't think Mundell is quite as good as Jack Clark on a technical level, and I rate Mundell technically. Before anyone goes off on one, I do rate Mundell technically very highly, but I think Clark has got a bit more. I think the way Clark has the ball glued to his feet almost, I think, is a different level. What I think Mundell's got, but that doesn't mean Mundell's crap or anything like that, because he isn't. Having said that, no, I don't think I would take it back. I don't think I'd take Clark back, and I'm a big Jack Clark fan. But I think now we're at the point where we need to be targeting better than Clark. And again,
I agree.
Again, this is what I mean. We need, unless we are certain, we can't. Ipswich, again, as I've said, just basically signed the best of the Championship, which again isn't a bad thing. And to be fair to Jack Clark, Ipswich didn't use him in his natural position. They haven't. Apparently, he's been really managed poorly there. But I think if you're going to go for a left wing, you need someone better. And I think abroad, for the similar price he would probably cost, I think you could probably get someone a bit better. You got to remember, and again, as I said before, I think with Ipswich, although they've probably pretty much signed the best of the Championship, that's not necessarily an inherently bad strategy. But I just think we need to be better than that, unless we are certain that the player we're getting from the Championship is going to definitely make the step up.
No, I totally agree. I was just reading John Haswell comment now saying we've got Isidore as well, Sean. He's got 13 goals last season. Obviously, next step is the league above. See how he does, maybe coming off the bench. I think it's, like I said, I think it's the same with him and Miranda. I think that Isidore and Miranda will just be coming off the bench and impact players, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they do that. They get the odd goal and the chip in, but we will definitely be signing a striker. It would be our number one. There's no doubt about that, Michael. Is there? No doubt about it.
And I suspect it'll be I don't know whether we'll sign him or not, but I think the main guy we'll go for is the guy from Lyon, because if he's rated really, really highly and Lyon have been relegated to the second tier of French football, then
is what's he called again?
I don't know. I know
it's somewhat long like that.
I think who we could sign, as Dane's just said, how about Ian Hart on a free?
Oh God, Ian Hart.
Don't get me.
You know what? As soon as you mention his name, I'd get it like a horrible feeling.
Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. No, I mean, I think we will sign a striker from abroad. But I think it's. But again, one thing this definitely proves for me now, though, and I think there was a lot of people that were concerned about this going into the window, was how much ambition were we going to show to try and stay up? I think this answers the question. I think we're here. I think this answers it in spades, to be totally honest.
Absolutely. Nobody can see we're not trying to show any. We're not showing any ambition. These. You know what? The owners, the hierarchy, the word you use. These know how tough a ask this is going to be for us to stay up. Yeah, and they're willing to not throw. They're not silly as well. They're not going to throw everything at us, but they're going to give it the best chance they can give it for us to stay up. I firmly believe that. And do you know, Michael, what I've mentioned, and somebody mentioned in the comments, the loan markets as well. I mean, how many loan players can you have in the Premier League? Is it 2?
I think it
was it 3.
I remember. I think last time I checked, you could. I don't know how different it is in the Premier League. I remember in the Championship, you could sign. I think it was have as many loans as you want, but you can have up to 5 in your matchday squad. Now in the Premier League, I don't know how different it is. Sorry, 187 people watching. Come on, guys. If there's any of you watching that aren't subscribed, then hit the sub button. Come on. I'm 13 subs away from 6K.
Oh, come on, man. 13 subs. Kieran Egan, Matty, get that subscription button pressed, They made me workmates. Set some accounts up and get it done, man. Hi ho!
Trip them,
Hi ho!
Tell them you'll buy them a pint next time you see them in the pub or something. If you subscribe to us. As Sean says, it's absolutely free, doesn't cost a penny. So yeah,
exactly. That's the one.
Yeah. But no, to be fair, I mean, I think this kind of answers your. I think we've answered the question now that I've heard apparently that we are signing players to have a real good crack at staying in the league, and I think, and as I said, at some point, as hard as it's going to be to stay up, the team eventually is going to have to. Someone eventually is going to have to book the trend. So
that's it. Yeah.
And if we recruit properly, I don't see any reason why it can't be us. And but as like I said to you before, we were talking about. Actually, here's one I'll ask on the comments. John says, "Why would anyone go off on one? It's your opinion, mate." You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. But yeah, let's just say Sean Balzone. Here's what I'll ask. I'll ask people in the comments on here, and I think I'm going to get a flood of comments on this. So I'm going to be apologies in advance. I'm not going to keep up with it. But SJ says, "I've already subscribed, man. Here's one: create a new account and subscribe again." But being serious. Now, thanks to everyone who has subscribed. But yes, no. We've said before we need to finish above Leeds and Burnley to stay up. I think that's pretty obvious. I asked you this on Thursday. I can't remember if your editor put it in the video in the end, but I'll ask people here. If we finish above Leeds and Burnley, who's that third team we can finish above realistically to stay up? That's a question for the comments and for Sean if he wants to answer.
Say that again, Michael. Sorry, I just missed the last bit.
Sorry. If we need to finish above Leeds and Burnley, obviously, to have a chance of staying up. Yeah. And this is a question for the comments, for the live chat. Who do you think the third team has to be? Is the most realistically going to be if we're going to stay up? So Leeds, Burnley, and who else?
Do you know what I think you've got to be looking at teams like Brentford because they've lost Thomas Frank, the manager, right? I think they lost him in Bremo, big player for them. I think Wolves could maybe get drawn into it, possibly Wolves.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Wolves, Brentford, Burnley, Leeds.
To a lesser degree.
Who else would you see, Michael? Who else?
I think they'll be fine, by the way. But I think West Ham.
I think West Ham will be all right, you know. I think they'll be all right.
This way, I think even then, West Ham at home is realistically games we need to be trying to get a result out of. But I know what you mean. I think for me, if I had to name one team, I'd possibly say Brentford.
Brentford's the one. The week I think they could be the weak link. Losing the manager, possibly. Bremo's got to Man United. He's a big player for them. So, honestly, I'm thinking Brentford.
Sorry, comments got me laughing here. If this is the bottom three, that'll be hilarious.
He makes us send a message, hi, or so that the joke at work. Sorry, Michael.
Oh, that's all right.
You work me.
You must have told them we were going on stream. He goes, "Hey, Sean's on the YouTube. Let's go and watch him." Oh yeah, SJ. Don't get me wrong. It is going to be tough. It absolutely is going to be tough.
It will. There's no denying that, Michael. I mean,
well, the consensus from the chat, from what I'm seeing, seems to be Wolves and Brentford and whatever else, and West Ham's getting a few mentions.
Yeah, Michael is one for you. Spurs. Somebody's put Spurs. I can't say that. I think
they're not going to be that bad again.
I think the new manager will study them a little bit. I think Man United possibly. They'll not be as bad with the signs they're making. Kuna, Bremo. Michael, imagine the bottom three. Michael,
Man United get relegated and we sign Amad Diallo.
Can you imagine that? Man United get relegated. Oh, honestly.
Well, yeah, but and you got to remember as well. I think, to be fair, the only reason I think that Man United and Tottenham finished anywhere near as low as that they did was because they were both prioritising, right, well, we're not going to do it. We're going to be shit in the league, so let's just focus on the Europa League. Whereas Man United in particular are not going to do that again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That could be a good thing for them. Man United's got no Europe this season, have they, Michael? So they can just literally concentrate on the Premier League, and then obviously not the League Cup and the FA Cup. They've got nothing else to play for, really.
Exactly. But could you answer this question? Brentford are well run; they won't go down. I agree. I think they are definitely well run, but you got to remember that Thomas Frank leaving is a big blow for them, and massive blow for them. Mm-hmm. So it all depends, really. So I mean, definitely don't get me wrong; it'll be tough, but they're clubs you need to be targeting, really.
Well, this is Michael. Well, I mean, you've got this couple, a couple of teams. I mean, I know you said briefly you thought Everton might struggle, but I think Everton will finish on. I think they'll finish on the top half. Like, I don't know what I've got for it. But then the new stadium, what are they going to be like playing there? The new ground, could that be a?
Here's another one for me. We could probably do, if Palace get into the Europa League, we could do with them having a long, good run at it.
I just think they've.
I think Palace will have too much. Like, I think they'll be okay, but like,
I think they will. But then the Europe could stretch them a little bit. They could be, could be a little bit too much for them. So it's a good point, that Michael. Actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point, isn't it? So, I mean,
Bournemouth didn't finish in Europe, did they? They just finished outside, didn't they?
Something like that.
I think they're decent at the end.
Imagine that.
Burnley Wolves are now Spurs.
It's Spurs, yeah.
That would be funny. That would be hilarious.
When the Spurs go marching down to the EFL Championship. Oh, imagine that stuff. No Kinder, Mbuemo, Norgard gone as. Oh, Norgard, there's an experienced midfielder for Brentford, has gone to Arsenal. So Adam French. Oh my God. Seeing this. Wigan, and Wigan.
Michael, you have to show us up to link this up to my YouTube channel this year. Like, is it easy to do, like, Michael?
Once you get your head around it, it is.
Is this?
Albert Lewis. Yeah, I found it fairly easy enough.
So did you have to use a laptop or not? Or
I think you do, yes.
Right.
If you've got a laptop or a normal computer, you should be fine.
I've got a laptop here, just here. Yeah,
Is this what you're on right now?
No, I'm on my phone. I'm just because when you sent us the link, I just quickly
jumped on it.
I mean, laptop. The camera's cropping it, Mike, on the laptop. The camera's not very good, like.
Well, we'll wait. I'm just having a quick look. Brentford will struggle. Massive risk of pointing Keith Andrews. Yeah, that's a big thing as well. We don't know how Keith Andrews is going to adapt at Brentford. He might do well, though. There's often a drop-off from a less fancy team who overperformed the previous season.
Michael, Man City after the 100-point deduction.
Oh, my God. Imagine that.
Oh, that'd be funny if Man City got a massive point deduction and they got relegated. So then we'll just need Burnley and Leeds and we'd steal.
I absolutely like the sound of that. Like, let's see, downstairs. I think Bournemouth. Let's have a look. I think Bournemouth will struggle. Always seem to be losing loads of the defenders. Yeah, maybe. No, it's going to be. Yeah, I think I'm going to give up trying to get through all these comments because there's just so many. Oh my God! Hang on, right, guys, come on.
Are we getting this? Oh, no, I've got 5.
Come on,
Michael, I need 5.
Come on, 5 more people.
5. Oh wait, get 5 more, and then that'll be.
Yeah, away.
Away, man.
Let's have a look. Right, what's Dane's comment? Chelsea will get some serious fines in the future and punishments. Yes, but they're not going to get points deductions, are they? I think that's kind of what we need to have a chance of.
Michael, if we get 5 more subscribers, you've got to down a pint of lager next time you get into the hotel.
Okay, hang on.
Straight off.
Hang on, down a pint of lager down the drain. Probably, to be fair, actually, I don't know if you know the funny story when I saw Mr. Stadium.
Jumps on you,
when I saw him at the Wickham playoff final 3 years ago, and I can't even believe that was 3 years ago when you think about it.
Aye.
No, anyway, I saw him, and he couldn't. Thane, don't you give him ideas. Saying,
down one. Aye, definitely.
Pal. Then Adam says a high five there for you, mate.
Michael, I was saying that young lad who done it on the cricket ground before. He got the pint right. He downed it, right? He got the pint down and put it. He fell forward and he went out of the seats.
One of those like massive plays, you just like go like that.
No, he's in the cricket ground and all the lads are egging him on. He got the pint glass in his mouth, downed it. He fell forward and he went about 5 rows out of the seats. I was in stitches. Like went viral as well. Like. I wouldn't want you to do that, don't worry.
No, I definitely would not be doing anything of the sort.
Oh, we got it. Oh, he's got it. Michael's done it.
There we go. Okay. Thanks, everyone. I managed to get it on air. That was absolutely brilliant. Where is it? Casey has just put the Bowers 6K. Thanks to everyone who did subscribe. Managed to actually get another 20 subs or so. Hang on. Whoa, Jesus Christ. There's a lot of comments here now. Hang on. Can we get a cameo on here with Dave the Rave? Oh God! Imagine Dave. Do you know, funny enough, right? You know, it would have been class to get on these sort of things. You know, Mark Gibbon, the guy you interviewed.
Oh God,
That was funny. I don't think he'd mind. I don't think he'd mind us saying this. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but
yeah.
Thanks. No, anyway, it says Great show, lads. Got Tony Hunton says, great show, lads. Got to go. 5% charge left. Not good enough. How dare you need to charge your devices? It's terrible. Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to start to wrap it up in a minute because I'm near the end of my end broadcast thing because it only lets me go up to 2 hours and we're at an hour and 50 minutes. But saying that, I'll still go on for another 9 minutes. But thanks to everyone who has subscribed. No, it means an awful lot, and it's a really, really big achievement. Well, for me, anyway, it's a really big achievement to get the 6K subs because it's, obviously, look, like I said, I know I'm not the biggest YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm really proud to have built that over how many years. And thanks to Sean for helping along the way. And, we were both at Fan TV at one point. Fan TV's helped me subs count out massively. And, it's put us kind of on the map to some degree.
Michael, you were already on the map.
Well, most. Look at that. Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Sean. Seagulls. Aye. Just the story of when it nicks Paul's burger. And for those quick who don't know, me and my mate Paul, we were on our way to watch a Sunderland game. I think it was Hull away when Ross Stewart scored when Embo got sent off. And got injured for the season. Anyway, we went. We went to get one of the. Sorry, you're on the May overwin American lads. Now, to everyone who's saying thank you very much for 6K, thanks ever so much. There's literally so many that I cannot get through all of them.
Michael, honestly, I've just got to see it from myself. Honestly, for you to get 6K, I think it's unbelievable. To be fair, I mean, you've been going for a few years now.
Hang on, what's happening here? Right, we'll try that again. Now, sorry, go on, carry on. I'll just shrink the screen a little bit. There we go. Go for it. I'll just shrink my size as well. That sounds wrong. But anyway, just ignore how that could be a second.
I'll shrink my size.
Yeah,
I just want to see a massive congratulations to you, Michael, for getting the 6,000 subscribers. You absolutely deserve it. Nobody deserves it more. I think you've worked so hard over the last 5-6 years. I couldn't be more proud of you. You're like a brother to me. I love you to bits, mate. Well done.
No, that's really appreciated. That means a lot. And obviously, I think it's good that we work so well together. Right.
Yeah.
I was going to try and comment saying thanks to everyone who has. Is this going to work again? Right. I'm going to stop trying to comment because that's not going to work. There you go. I'll just shrink my screen. There we go. I'll just leave it like that. I can't be bothered. But anyway, no, thanks guys to everyone who has watched. It truly just means. Right.
Let's go. Woo woo. Hear the noise.
Woo,
I won't get you over there.
Sean. Yeah, but no, thanks to ever so much. There was a comment talking about
it's doing it again.
What?
It's doing it again.
So start going on.
Great stream, Michael. Great stream.
No, thanks to everyone who has commented. It means a lot. Right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Unless Sean's got any final points he wants to say before I start echoing the place.
Thanks to Michael. Thanks for having us on. Me and Michael's going to be doing a lot more content on obviously my channel as well, and Fans React. So please watch our latest videos. We're going to do some live streams as well. We've got loads of content coming. And watch this space. Thanks very much for having us on. Thank you.
No, thanks for coming on. Obviously, it was kind of I can't remember who it was that said this, but someone suggested the idea. Let me see if I can quickly find them on here so I can directly actually say their name and credit them. SJ really wants me to stay on longer than till 10 o'clock or something. Hang on. Right. Let's see if I can quickly go back a bit earlier with the comments on the live chat. No, but I remember somebody actually did comment about getting you on here, and I'm trying to remember who it was. If you're still here, mate, let us know because I want to actually say your name properly and credit you. Let's see if I can go back to the start of my stream because then I hate it when it does that. Right, whoever it is, mate, I'm so sorry I've forgotten who it was, but whoever suggested Sean to come on, thanks very much for that. What's this? Sorry, apparently there's been some more Mika
Tedzi news.
Mika Zatedi. Sounds like Mika
Tedzi. I think it's a harp on that.
No, it's a horrible. Why has everyone got unpronounceable names? But yeah, apparently some more teas. Well, we'll have a look. I've got a lot of forum to catch up on once I've done all this because we've been live for nearly 2 hours. And thanks to there's 138 people still watching.
Wow.
Cheers to everyone who has been watching. But no, like I say, Sean, honestly, this is relatively straightforward to set up. And at some point we can probably, if you bring a laptop with you, maybe next time we do a meet up to record something.
Oh,
Right.
can you do? Right. So do you need Wi-Fi, Michael, on that to do it, or
I think you do, yes.
you have to? You probably have to come to mine to do it.
There though, you could easily come across to the Hilton though, and you can connect your laptop to the Hilton Wi-Fi.
Oh, have they got a Wi-Fi in there? Yeah.
Oh yeah, another. Well, actually, you know what you could have done? To be fair, you could literally do a live from the Hilton on here.
Didn't think about that.
You could do a live. You could, if we set this up, you could do a live from the Hilton and actually take comments live as we get them. Which I think would be a really good shout. Thane, are you trying to hint at something here? English. Oh my god, are you hinting at an incoming signing or something? Because if you are, you're such a tease. Right, guys, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Me and Sean will say thank you very much for watching. And thanks to, and obviously the big one, hitting 6,000 subscribers. I'm absolutely
brilliant.
So,
brilliant, Michael. Brilliant.
Thank you so much to everybody. And yeah, if Sean's up for it, we'll be back again soon on your screens or your phones or wherever you're watching. Make it so good. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.